towards the player. If you consider what these guys went through just only this season with the injuries and the way the team, I'm calling it dressing room. Ray knows how it works. You know, when the dressing room falls apart, that's where everything falls apart. And I'm telling you now, these players playing for these coaches.
Peterborough chairman Darren McAntony believes
that, regardless of how he got there.
He's gone the long way round, though.
Doesn't matter that, regardless of how he got there.
He's gone the long way round, though.
Doesn't matter. Has he delivered that?
Elsewhere, David Beckham is about to become Sir David. It's reported Becks will get a knighthood in the King's Birthday Honours list. talkSPORT's United supporting chief football correspondent Alex Crook thinks it's about damn time.
Whatever you think of Beckham as a footballer, he's one of those unique people who transcends his sport. Everybody knows who David Beckham is, whether you're a football fan or not. I think you look at the role he played in getting the Olympics to London in 2012. That alone, for me, should have been enough to earn a knighthood. Then you chuck in all the charity work.
Next, new Chelsea striker Liam Delap has been left out of England's under-21 squad for the Euros as he prioritises a Club World Cup campaign with the Blues. Former Ipswich midfielder Darren Ambrose says he'd have done the same.
I don't think whatever he does in an under-21 shirt, if he's good enough and if he does it for Chelsea in the Premier League, is going to affect anything to do with any senior call-up. I don't see this as an argument. There's enough quality in the under-21s to go and win that tournament.
And one of the country's most famous bakers has finally settled the great talkSPORT breakfast scone debate.
To be honest, I do end up putting jam on first and then the cream, clotted cream.
Because you put the cream on and then the jam goes all over.
I know, it just pours out from the top of the cream and pours all over your floor. But no, I would put the jam on first, set that, and then the clotted cream on top.
It's been a slow week.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT, where this afternoon we are coming to you from the George Pub in London for a special show with Macmillan.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, we're joined by some stellar guests from the world of sport, including former England winger Aaron Lennon, ex-Spurs and Swansea defender Steven Caulker, one-time Wales and Lions fly half Gavin Henson, as well as the current Wigan Warriors star Junior Nsemba.
That's right, our resident two-time Arsenal title winner Perry Groves will also be popping along, as will West Ham supporting comedian Laura Smith.
There's all this, and of course we'll bring you the clips of the week.
Yep, as always on a Friday. It is 4 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. What a lovely venue we're at.
Beautiful little spot. This is the George Inn. You want a little bit of potted history?
Yes.
It's in Southwark. If you don't live in London, or I'm sure you've come down to London, you've probably gone to Borough Market, and people have had a look around Borough Market before. More or less right opposite Borough Market in a courtyard. So it's a very old building. Of course, they had the Great Fire of London in 1666. You were there, remember? You were the bloke who kicked the bucket over in Pudding Lane, weren't you?
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
But luckily, we're south of the river here, and because of all the houses and everything on the bridge, the fire's kind of burnt itself out south of the river.
Oh, right.
So this part of the river wasn't really affected by the fire. But 10 years later, right, 1670. There we go. Stick with me. 1676. And again, I think you were here for this one. They had a massive fire in Southwark, burnt down most of Southwark. So they rebuilt a lot of the buildings, and they built the George Inn 1676, Andy. That's not bad, is it?
fabulous.
This isn't the original building, but there is a minstrel's gallery there.
Oh, yeah.
So today we are the minstrels. So hey, Nonny, and indeed Nonny.
Very, very interesting.
So there we are.
Doing the
Now
show
you
with
know.
Dan Snow.
It's a proper old London building.
Yes. Well, I was thinking though on the way in, football managing. It's a doddle, isn't it?
On what basis? Just massive payoff.
Ivan Juric has just landed the job at Atalanta.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's amazing. It doesn't matter how bad you are, somebody's going to want you. It's incredible.
Well, I mean, I suppose you can go in. I mean, I've been making this.
But what do they look at Southampton when that's the bloke we need?
Well, I think his track record before wasn't
great, was it?
Oh, wasn't it?
I don't think so.
Well, why did Southampton give him a job?
No idea.
Is it Atalanta he's got?
He'll be on talkSPORT next week.
He'll be doing your job.
He probably will.
Juric and Hawksbee. It would be Hawksbee and Juric. I think that would be fantastic. We've got some fantastic guests joining us today. Aaron Lennon's just arrived. Going to be having a chat with him. Steven Caulker. Gavin Henson. Junior Nsemba ahead of the Challenge Cup tomorrow. He's not playing in it. We won't dwell on that for too long.
No, okay, fair enough.
Wigan didn't make it, but he's had a great season. A brilliant player. So we'll be chatting to him. Perry Groves, Laura Smith. So lots and lots of different guests joining us this afternoon. We're here with Macmillan. Macmillan have got together. It's the Greene King pub and one of our old sponsors, of course. Greene King have got together with Macmillan and Toolstation. Apparently, Toolstation and Macmillan had a relationship before and have done stuff. So they've all come together for a special show today. We're going to bring in a guest now, actually, who's an ambassador, a clinical advisor for Macmillan Cancer Support. He does an award-winning podcast as well, which was his idea. Naman Yolka Anderson. Yeah, man, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, a pleasure. So your day job is, well, you seem to have quite a lot of day jobs, but your day job is a radiographer.
Yep, so I'm a therapeutic radiographer, so we use high energy radiation to treat cancer in and around the body, and then I work for Macmillan 2 days a week as an allied health professional clinical advisor, so doing really cool things like this.
Yeah, but you're not just any radiographer, you're radiographer of the year.
What's this, an M&S ad?
No, but it's fantastic. I mean, we love great achievements on talkSPORT, so tell us a bit about that, and what did you have to do to get them? You told me you'd have 7 awards.
Thank you, yeah, it was a busy year last year, so a lot of my work is around health inequities. So when we talk about people of colour not getting what they deserve, so I was born and raised in India, obviously I'm brown, I've got a good tan, but everything in healthcare is based on white skin, so redness, things like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
My work has been around basically demystifying the fact that not everyone goes red, led to some international kind of work and things like that, and I also won Allied Health Professional of the Year, so it's quite a nice flag for us to be talking about it. Thank you.
And how did the podcast come about then?
So it was a bit of an idea with a colleague of mine who I used to work with previously. Unfortunately, they stepped away, and then I took it over with a new colleague, Joe, who I do it with. And yeah, it's just to educate people about radiotherapy, oncology, but we talk about mental health. We have people with lived experience who come on and share their experiences as well with cancer treatment. And I think some of the impact of it is almost priceless, because we talk about, I don't know, sex and intimacy for patients who've had prostate cancer, for example.
Yeah.
And then all across the world in different countries who haven't considered that a problem, they have now looked into it. So yeah, love it. It doesn't feel like a job, and as you said, very busy.
No, and are there a lot of kind of misconceptions then around cancer treatment? Then there's sort of myths you try and dispel, yeah?
I think, I think for men especially, we're obviously always told we don't talk about our emotions, we don't want to open up about bits and pieces, but 200,000 men a year get cancer in the UK. That's 500 a day. Prostate cancer being the most prolific, so 50,000 a year.
And you do think about that aspect of it. I mean, people don't talk about it, but it's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, but it's also how we talk about it. So being in a pub, or for example, during the pandemic, there was Boys Who Game, so people playing Call of Duty, things like that, and then they were talking to each other about their mental health, keeping each other going through furlough. But those are the pockets of ways that we can help each other as blokes, I guess. It's not always that we want to sit one-on-one and have a chat. It could be driving a car, sometimes even with our Toolstation colleagues, so being a lone worker or with someone else on the tool site, that's how it is. But the misconceptions really are that cancer's a death sentence, it only affects older people. It's not true, and actually men in their 30s are more likely to avoid talking about their health. so almost twice as much as people in their 60s.
Yeah.
So this is where we really need to be encouraging those conversations.
Is this people ignoring symptoms to an extent? I mean, there are some sort of, it feels like there's some barriers. Again, maybe this is a misconception. There is always a thing of like, it's very hard to get a GP appointment. You don't quite know what you think, well, you know, I've been on the phone for 25 minutes. They can't see me for 2 or 3 weeks. I won't bother. There is a little bit of that to it, isn't there?
Definitely a problem.
I think it's a hesitation, but obviously our primary care colleagues, the GPs, the nurses and the AHPs, they work very hard. They get 7 minutes per patient sometimes. Yes, there are waiting lists, but we always encourage that if you can try and avoid that fear of having to wait, get in when you can. You know, don't try and ignore it really. But I think with primary care and anything else like that at the moment, everything is stretched, but we want to help people. At the end of the day, the earlier we can catch symptoms, problems, whether it is that you go down a diagnostic pathway and you don't actually have to have any scans or any, you know, you don't have cancer, that still means we followed it through and that will alleviate any of your worries.
Yeah.
At the same time, if we find something early, that's even better because we'll be able to hopefully diagnose quicker, get you through treatment quicker, and hopefully recovery as well afterwards.
There is a feeling that radiotherapy and chemo, etc., is pretty brutal, and I've witnessed it in my own family with my dad. But I mean, are there advancements in technology? Is it less invasive than it used to be, maybe? Is it getting better?
Absolutely. I think radiotherapy, if you looked up some old photos, it was very hit or miss sometimes, whereas now we work to sometimes 0mm accuracy. So we are very proud and we're very specific, we're very fussy in radiotherapy, but we should be. But some of the cutting edge treatment, you can have minimal side effects. We're shortening full appointment times down from weeks to days for some types of cancers. I think chemotherapy, as there's so many new advances, there's also immunotherapy, which are different sort of checkpoint inhibitors, but people are now living decades longer because of these advancements.
Yeah.
And that's what we really want. But I think for us at Macmillan, we try to support people to live with and beyond cancer. So it's not just while you're having treatment, it's before or afterwards, it's your family, even through bereavement, we support people. So we have an amazing support line, and that's kind of where we try and bring all of those things in. And people like me behind the scenes who get to work with our nursing colleagues, bring out the information for free for everyone. That's what we want to do.
You yourself look pretty fit, pretty trim. Are you sporty?
Yes, I like sport. I've got a bit of a dad bod. I've got an 8-month-old at home.
Dad bod? Look, compared.
Yeah. Actually, he's got a granddad bod.
I've got a granddad bod.
Granddad bod. So that's not me yet. But, I like to go to the gym. Ultra marathon running is my thing at the minute.
Wow.
So 24-hour run again next year. I did an Ironman recently.
24 hours.
Yeah, it's a very
I mean, that's
silly
another thing when you talk about mental health. I mean, sort of fitness and trying to keep your fitness levels up if you can. That sort of endorphin release is important, isn't it? It's not always easy, but
it's not always easy. And I think for people living with and beyond cancer, so the patients that I see in clinics, they might have started their treatment not even able to walk up and down stairs, and by the end of their treatment they build up with those slow kind of to goals and things like that, and eventually they're able to maybe do a 5k, do a park run, that sort of thing. I think for us as healthcare professionals, we often always forget to look out for each other in that respect.
Yeah.
We talk about exercise and things to each other, but at the same time I think the pandemic really exacerbated things around mental health for us, that we need to be caring for the carer as well, along as the people going through the treatments.
So where can people find the podcast, and who would you say it's sort of specifically aimed at then, Rad Chat?
Anyone. It'd be great to have you both on if you fancy it.
Sure.
We are listened to in 129 countries in the world now.
Wow.
It's on Spotify, Apple Music. Should probably also say, so I'm not competing with my day job, Macmillan also has a Cancer Professionals podcast. There's all these different avenues for people to gather information. I think that's the beauty of what's been happening with technology as well. So not just the advancements in treatment, but how people access information. So TikTok, Instagram, all these different ways, maybe that not all of us are that fond of, but it is a way to find out about cancer treatments and awareness, etc.
And you're a Chelsea fan finally, you're feeling optimistic. We seem to be buying everybody, or wanting to buy everybody at the moment, you two. So.
A lot of rumour.
Yeah.
We always get that from Spurs fans, so that's fine.
You normally get 3 points off of us, to be fair. So.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a few more of those next season as well. But, so I was born and raised in India. Everyone either supports Man United or Man City. That was so I thought I'd have a different club to support. We moved to London in the early 90s. So yeah, that was it. Chelsea. Before we were buying everyone, basically.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, Naman. It's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much.
For the opportunity.
Naman Caulker Anderson there, and Rad Chat is the podcast if you'd like to go and check it out. Professional clinical advisor for Macmillan Cancer Support. We're here with Macmillan today, and Toolstation and Greene King, and we're going to be chatting to people about different aspects of their mental and physical health. We've got Aaron Lennon joining us for a chat in a few moments' time. We're going to talk a bit of Ange, obviously, and he played football with Sir David
Oh, yes.
Of course. I think Sir David, looking at some stuff earlier on, was a big fan of Aaron's as a player, so we'll get Aaron's take on that. Perry Grove's going to be with us, Steven Caulker, Gavin Henson, lots of great guests joining us this afternoon.
Sir Perry Groves, I don't know if you've heard.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It was only a matter of time, wasn't it? Yeah. We're here with Toolstation Macmillan to raise awareness for Men's Health Week. Scan the QR code to find out more. Welcome back to the Georgian for a special H&J show with Macmillan this afternoon. Just before we chat to Aaron Lennon, one of his old teammates, England teammates in the news today, Sir David Beckham. He's got the knighthood, let's be honest, he coveted.
He is a member of your family, I do know that.
Well, a distant relative, we'll come on to that later. Henry Winter, the sports journalist, spoke to Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour on breakfast this morning after the news broke about David's knighthood, and H believes it is fully deserved.
115 caps for England, the pride in which he captained. I can remember when he was made captain for the first time in Turin in 2000, and we spoke to him, a group of us, before the game, the day before the game, and he was so nervous about it, putting on the armband for the first time. But I'm just amazed it hasn't happened before. When you see what some individuals in life, in business, in society get for knighthood, and you think what Beckham has done for the exports of this country on a simple commercial level, but also the ambassadorial nature, whether it was when England were bidding for a tournament, he helped Great Britain get London 2012, didn't get much recognition from that, probably got some nice seats in the Olympic Stadium, and also, the charity work, little things like when he was at PSG donating all his salaries to Parisian kids charities. So look, there's a good man who's deserved this, and it's long overdue.
There we are, Henry Winter on breakfast earlier on today. As we said, the former Spurs and Leeds and England winger, and Everton, let's not forget him. Aaron Lennon has joined us. Hi, Aaron.
Yeah, chaps. Really good. How are you?
Yeah, good. So you went in. What was your first England cap? Sort of 2006, I see, wasn't it?
2006. Yeah, it was. Yeah, just before the World Cup.
So David's a pretty established player by him. What's it like going into a dressing room with him? Did you feel a bit nervous?
I was nervous then when I first got called up there. I said, the big dogs, Bex, Lampard, Gerrard, Rooney, Rio. But they was actually all magnificent with me, and especially like David, because obviously I was coming in for his position really.
Yeah, so of course.
I'm the young kid just breaking through, and he was so supportive of me. He welcomed me to that dressing room, put his arm around me, and you never felt like I was in competition with him. He was always, if I was starting in front of him, he'd come and sit with me and I'd give me a chat, and he was fantastic. I absolutely loved him as a player, and I think he was really underrated as well.
Yeah. He was a very different sort of player to you. I mean, you could offer something very different from him, but what he did brilliantly.
That's what I said. We was complete opposite players. Like I said, I want to pick it up and go past players. David's not going to do it. He can pick it up and just put it on your head. Yeah. But he was fantastic. I don't think he gets enough credit. Such a hard worker for the team, such a selfless player, but technically unbelievable. And as a professional also, like you said, he didn't just become good at free kicks. He would be after training. I remember sitting there one time and he was half an hour, 40 minutes just whipping it into the top bins, left, right. And it was fantastic to see as a young player, to see how dedicated he was. It was like, so when he did put them in, it was like, it's no fluke here. The guy practices them every single day. But no, a great man. And like I said, I was a young player, and I absolutely loved playing with him, not just as a player, but as a man also.
That's good to hear. And that showbiz side of his life, did you see that when you were in and around the squad? Everybody taking pictures of him, everybody wanted a piece of him?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. I've been around a few famous people, but honestly, David, anywhere we went in the world, it was like, forget the whole team, David's there. And honestly, it was great for like me type of person. I didn't care, but honestly, David is around the world is phenomenal. You wouldn't believe it.
That is a lot to cope with, isn't it? Whenever, I mean, you're so recognisable and everybody wants it, but you can't really go
it's
and
difficult.
How do you go? I find out how you cope, Andy, sometimes. It must be difficult. But it must be, mustn't it, really? Sort of from your mental health point of view, suddenly everybody knows who you are every moment of the day, wherever you go in the world. You've got nowhere to hide.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. Like I said, and he handles it so well. Like I said, and this was in anywhere we went. I remember one time we was in the England camp early on, and we used to stay in the Lowry in Manchester, and a few of us decided we're going to go to the shops, and I don't know, for some reason David thought he could come with us. And honestly, within 5 minutes the whole of Manchester had surrounded him, and security had to come and get him to take him back to the hotel. And all he wanted to do was pop to the shops.
Amazing, isn't it?
Honestly, within 5 minutes. But he was an absolute icon, and he still is to this day.
The selfie culture wasn't quite the same. Imagine that now. It would be 10 times worse, wouldn't it? Every 5 yards he'd have someone doing that with him, with an arm around his shoulder.
Honestly.
We're going to talk a bit of Spurs and a bit of Ange and other matters, and Perry Grove's going to join the chat. We'll have a bit of Spurs and Arsenal chat. They seem to be being linked with a lot of players as well today. But we are here with Macmillan. We're talking about physical and mental health for men, and you've been very upfront, Aaron, about your struggles. I mean, every time we sort of catch up with you, looking fine federal, you've come through it, but there are certain checks and balances you make sure you still do. You look after yourself after your issues.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, I had a really tough time back, 8 years ago now. It's absolutely flown by. But no, for sure, I was in a dark place, really suffering with severe depression. And like I said, I got to a stage where I had to be put in the hospital. But yeah, I had to I went and got help, got a lot of good help, and then continued to get help after. And then did a lot of work on myself now to this day. Noticed.
Do you know why it happened? Can you trace it back?
We traced it back, and so we was doing a lot of work with the therapist and stuff. And like I said, I was going The scary thing about depression is, like you said, is I never seen it coming. So there was a few things going on with the family, a few things I wasn't enjoying football, but I didn't really realise how severe it was. But as I said, it just started to escalate really quickly, where getting out of bed became tough, and things you normally enjoy don't become enjoyable, and it becomes a really bad spiral, not being able to sleep, and all of a sudden, like I said, it was middle of your mind telling you all kinds of crazy things, and it's severe. And like I said, and that's the scary thing about depression is, like you said, you do have to keep a check on yourself, because, like I said, I didn't see it coming. But since then, I've studied the mind, I've done a lot of work on it. I realised how important it is. And like I said, looking after myself physically was never a problem. But looking after myself mentally was always a big problem.
Maybe not getting into the situation you were in, but I mean, I think a lot of the listeners, men and women, everybody knows about catastrophising. We all do it. We lie there sometimes at night, and you start to imagine. I mean, there were elements of that about what happened to you as well.
No, 100%. Like I said, that was something. Like I said, I would go through the whole night without even sleeping, but just because my mind wouldn't shut up, and literally a negative voice telling me all kinds of craziness, and I couldn't break the cycle. I couldn't get out of that. And then, like I said, you go through the whole night not sleeping and trying to go to work in the morning or trying to go to training, and it's a knock-on effect. You're knackered, you don't want to train, you don't want to eat healthily because you can't be bothered to cook, and it's a bad spiral to be in. But learning about the mind and learning how to silence it and learning to be in the present moment is a lot of work I've done. I've done a lot of meditation. I like to journal. I like to write my feelings down now. Which has really helped me. But I tell people now, it's like I said, look, if you don't go to the gym, you get unfit. I've said this a few times. And I said, if you don't look after your mind, it's the same. Like you said, if you don't get the right amount of sleep, nutrition's so important, hydration, exercise is massive for the mind. And if you're not doing these things, they're like a couple of the three basics. You could end up in a bad place.
Sure. What made you take the first step, and what was that first step?
As in getting help? Yeah,
because people will be listening to this and thinking, I recognise that, but what am I going to do?
The thing for me is I was never going to ask for help. I was one of them type of old school characters. So I was missing days of training, not being able to get out of bed, where the doctor's like, Aaron, what's wrong? And I'm like, honestly, I just don't feel good. I was making excuses at times. So I was able to put a mask on and say, look, I just don't feel unwell. So it wasn't until the doctors started to come round to assess me they really realised how unwell I was. And obviously I got sectioned, so it was actually taken out of my hands. I was actually put in the hospital. But like I say, for people, like, you're never always going to feel 100%. Like I said, there's times where you're not going to feel okay, but that's quite normal. But it's when it's going on for periods of time, I would tell people, then you start to notice these things. If you're feeling not great every single day, and the things that you used to like is not good, and you're struggling to get out of bed to do simple things are becoming really difficult, then I think it's time to speak to somebody. And sometimes speaking to a friend, you'd be surprised that even just a conversation, that first conversation, I would always say go and have. You'd be surprised how much that first conversation will help you.
Well, it's good. It's something we speak now and again on the show, and you're feeling good. You're in a good place now.
No, but like I said, I'm great. Like I said, that was 8 years ago. I can't believe how long ago it was. But no, I feel amazing. Like I said, I've got 2 young kids who I absolutely love, and they keep me busy. And like I said, I'm loving each day. Like I said, to go from where I was to now. Like I said, it was a lot of hard work to get where I am now. But now I'm in a fantastic place.
I mean, the one that comes up a lot, people often say, well, what would Aaron be depressed about? He earns a fortune, he's had this fantastic career, he's played for his country, but there's no respect for that, is it?
No, that's the thing, and if it did, then we're basically saying anyone with any money would never have any issues. And it's not just football players. You see some of these, I've spoken to big billionaire CEOs who've said, Aaron, I've been in serious depression. So money, look, it might help you pay the bills, but it doesn't help you to change how your mind's feeling and what's going on in your head. So that's just one of them old school things. It's like, oh, what you got to worry about? You've got the perfect job, but it's like the mind doesn't work like that. No. It doesn't pick and choose. Like I said, money helps with certain things, but it doesn't help the mind that way.
Aaron Lennon's with us. We're going to be talking a bit of Spurs in a minute. We're also going to talk about Jack Grealish. A little bit of breaking news from our sources at talkSPORT. We'll tell you about that very shortly. More from Aaron. Perry Grove's going to be joining us as well. We are live from the George Inn in London at London Bridge. And don't forget, if you're watching on Connect TV or YouTube, you can scan the QR code on screen or visit macmillan.org.uk for more information.
Hollywood would be counting down to Big Ange being canned by Spurs. Daniel Levy's remained tight-lipped over the future of the manager. Former Tottenham defender Ramon Vega is furious Postecoglou's position is even in doubt.
For me, absolute major disrespectful towards the manager, towards the player. If you consider what these guys went through just only this season with the injuries and the way the team, I'm calling it dressing room. Ray knows how it works. You know, when the dressing room falls apart, that's where everything falls apart. And I'm telling you now, these players playing fit these coaches.
Elsewhere, David Beckham is about to become Sir David. It's reported Becks will get a knighthood in the King's Birthday Honours list. talkSPORT's United supporting chief football correspondent Alex Crook thinks it's about damn time.
Whatever you think of Beckham as a footballer, he's one of those unique people who transcends his sport. Everybody knows who David Beckham is, whether you're a football fan or not. I think you look at the role he played in getting the Olympics to London in 2012. That alone, for me, should have been enough to earn a knighthood.
And one of the country's most famous bakers has finally settled the great talkSPORT breakfast scone debate.
To be honest, I do end up putting jam on first and then the cream, clotted cream.
Because you put the cream on and then the jam goes all over.
I know, it just pulls out from the top of the cream and pulls all over your floor. But no, I would put the jam on first, set that, and then the clotted cream on top.
It's been a slow week.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs. We are live from the George Inn in London, in Southwark, just around the corner from our studios. We've got some great guests with us this afternoon. Aaron Lennon, we're currently chatting to, Spurs, England, Leeds, Everton winger. Talking to wingers, according to our sources at talkSPORT, Jack Grealish has accepted his Manchester City career is over. He expects to leave the club this summer. He was left on the bench for the FA Cup final, as we know, and he's not involved in the Club World Cup squad, we understand. So, Napoli apparently showing an interest.
Spurs will be good.
Spurs
yeah, I mean, he may. I'm just wondering, Aaron. I mean, it's maybe abroad. He's maybe going to look at McTominay and Gilmore and one or two other players that have gone abroad and done well. Maybe he just feels like he needs a fresh start away from the Premier League.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that is the case. Like you said, there's not many English players who do go abroad. But like you said, he's been recent ones. McTominay has been a massive success. And maybe he's thinking, I just want a time where he's done a lot in the Premier League. He's won everything, and he may want a different type of challenge. For me, Jack is such a fantastic football player. Wherever he goes, he needs to be playing football. Like I said, he's way too talented. He's unbelievable. I remember playing against him a few times and thinking, this boy's special. So for me, wherever he goes, I just hope he's looking at it football-wise and just thinking, I need to go somewhere and play football now.
You're right. He was very successful at City, but there was always that underlying feeling, wasn't there, that this is not the player he really is, the player that he wants to be, the freedom. Playing within, you can't criticise Pepe, he's brilliant, but the Grealish at Villa was more exciting.
No, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I like I said, I played against him at times when he was at Villa, and I remember thinking, like you said, he was unplayable at times. He had everything, whether he was playing in the 10 or off the left. He was so difficult to play, and he could do everything. He could go past you. He was strong. He could see a pass, and it felt like he's gone to City. And don't be wrong, he's been really successful. He's won everything, but he just felt like he was coming inside a lot and slaying it off. Whether that's coached or whether the manager's asking for that, who knows? Or maybe he's lost a little bit of confidence. But for me, I'm not seeing the player that I'd like to see. Like I said, for me, Jack is one of the best, and I don't think we're seeing that in the City shirt, especially not recently anyway. And he's not at the minutes.
No.
So which is also tough as a player, especially someone like Jack. He should be playing week in, week out. He's coming off the bench here and there. It's such difficult when you're playing out wide to come on and just affect games all the time.
Yeah, the profile of the player, something like Jeremy Doku, who is a bit more direct, is running at players, he's beating players. It's odd. Jack can do that. He hasn't got that kind of raw pace, but he offers you lots and lots of different things. things.
No, 100%. Like I said, he's opposite. He's not the same as Doku, like I said, but he can go. Like I said, Jack has the ability to go past players. He could walk past players.
Yeah,
he's that good. He can go inside. He can go outside. And we've just not seen it from him recently. Like you said, I don't know whether that's down to the manager or whether that's down to himself, or maybe just not getting a run of games. Because I've actually seen him in times, especially in the FA Cup this season. I thought he played really well. So I was surprised to see him not playing towards the end of the season. But it looks like the writing's on the wall, like you said. He's been left out the Club World Cup now, and it looks like his time's up.
Big fee though, big wages, and maybe that means it's going to be a loan or something, because who can afford?
Yeah, I mean Napoli. What are they going to get for him? 40, 50 million tops, because they know, they want to sell, and Napoli won't pay that sort of money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you said, what did he go for? 100 million? So they do well to get half of that back.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's going to be on huge wages. So can Napoli afford to pay that also? And they said we're linking him with Napoli. Who knows? I'm sure he'll have many suitors.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just hope he goes somewhere when he's playing, because he's too good not to be playing football.
Do you think he needs to go somewhere? Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, sorry, Andy.
We were talking about this before. The football, not just the money. I do wonder with these agents. I know that's their job, get the client the most money.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Jadon Sancho this week and thinking, you should have stayed at Chelsea, even if they only offered you 150 grand a week only, as opposed to 300 or whatever you're on.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
It's mad. I don't get it. You had a season in a club where you developed. They liked you. Yeah. They wanted you. You could have had gone on and done that.
Now he's back to square one.
Square one. It's really awful.
Yeah, no, like I said, if I was definitely advising these players, they've got more than enough money. I'd be saying, go play where you're going to go somewhere and play. Like I said, Jadon Sancho's another one. These two players are way too gifted, way too talented to not be playing week in, week out. So for me, if I was advising them, I'd say go somewhere where you're going to be loved, and somewhere you're going to play week in, week out, and go and show your ability and go love the game again, because like I said, they're two of the top talents, and we need them playing for England also.
Let's move on to Tottenham, shall we? And let's talk about this man.
It's great to finally get started as manager of this great football club.
Son tucks it in from 4 yards out after a beautiful move.
Hopefully a team that you can all be proud of, and more importantly get excited by.
And it's why they're going to go 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
His team's run on the front foot. He does put your team at risk at times, but he's putting it at risk because he wants to attack the game.
It's just who we are, mate.
So much happened in this game. Sendings off, disallowed goals, mistakes, tactical errors. Tottenham 1, Chelsea 4.
Van der Ven and Maddison, crucial to where they're at.
They have confirmed Europa League football and 5th place.
I don't usually win things, I always win things in my second year.
As I said, it's 16 years since they were in the lower half of the Premier League on Christmas Day.
Misery for Ange Postecoglou, dumped out of the Carabao Cup in midweek. Now they are out of the FA Cup as well.
Tottenham end the season 17th in the Premier League.
Vicario takes it. It's glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. First major trophy for 17 years.
Okay, Sarah.
Yeah, it's difficult as anybody who's connected with Spurs, and that will obviously include you, Aaron, to go anywhere at the moment. I'm sure it's been happening to you. People say, all right, Aaron, you Ange in, you Ange out. That's the first question.
It's been absolutely everywhere you go. And like I said, and now with this awkward kind of silence, it's even more so.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what do you know? I don't know anything. I don't think anyone does.
Even Ange is saying that.
Well, I mean, it's like a couple of weeks on, and I think there was an expectation by now. I mean, the difficult thing is, if he's not going anywhere, he's the man in the job. Why do you need to announce that? But you need to announce something, even if the chairman puts out something saying, what a fantastic couple of weeks, we've all basked in the glory of the win, we look forward to Ange taking the boys on next. You need an indicator.
100%, and that's just, and it's for everyone to do with the football club, and for the players to know where they're going in. And also you've seen the other clubs now, they're already spending early, so they need to get in the market. Spurs know they need players. Like you said, you've just got Champions League football, like you said, and that squad's not strong enough, it's not good enough.
No.
So it needs to improve, and obviously the manager needs to be part of that process. So there does need to be some clarification, and soon and fast, to whether he's going to be staying or not.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, you've got to buy players in his image if he is staying, and he's going to want to make a fast start.
Yeah,
because it was a bad domestic season.
Yep.
But given an uplift by that win in Europa League, but they can't be 17th again.
No chance. Like I say, it's not good enough, and everyone knows that. And Andrew knows that himself. And I remember him doing a press interview beforehand, and he always said he likes to get his players in before pre-season, right at the beginning, do the work early, get the players in.
That's not the way Tottenham tend to operate, even from your days.
100%, and that's the thing for me. So this awkward silence, I don't know if it's alarm bells. I don't like it. I don't know. I don't think it looks good for Ange, for me, in my opinion.
In a dressing room, Aaron. So you're all there, and you know that new players are going to be coming in, and you see other clubs doing business. Do you kind of guys talk and say, we haven't really signed too many? I thought we would have signed a couple by now. And when players come into a dressing room late and the season's already started, and maybe a couple of weeks afterwards on deadline day, what's that like? Because they're playing catch up, aren't they?
No, 100%. There's definitely a few conversations when you go back into pre-season. Is there new faces? Is there not? Are we going to be doing business? Obviously, players are looking around. I wonder if anyone's going to be coming in my position or not. Is my place up for grabs? So there's always them little conversations going on. But you're normally just so busy focused on pre-season. But for me, like I said, if I was a manager, and even for the players, it's so much better to get the players in early, to get them in that group of pre-season, go on their pre-season trips, get them bonded, especially if they're coming from different leagues, just to get them settled, their family settled. It's vital.
Yeah.
And for me, like I said, Spurs' squad at the minute is not good enough, and to play Champions League and to be playing 3 games a week at the highest level, and then to be pushing up the league where they belong, then, like I said, they need to make investments, and investments fast.
Because it'll be interesting to see what happens with Romero, for example.
Yeah.
Atletico are supposed to be interested.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good centre-halves on the market.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and there was an interesting, I don't know how true it is, with Romero saying if the manager left, he was leaving. I don't know how true it is.
I think he's leaving anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Who knows? That could be his agent. But yeah, who knows?
So, I mean, if you're making the decision, are you staying with Ange Postecoglou off the back of that win, or are you bringing someone else in because of what happened in the league?
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. A lot of people have been asking me, and I've been scratching my head about this one, because the thing I always take into account is how do I reckon the players, are they playing for him? Do the players are still behind the manager? And I do believe that they are. And normally when a manager is getting sacked or he's lost the dressing room, you can see that. You can see it in the way the team's playing. You can see it in their interviews after pre-match. But every player I've seen is so buzzing about Ange, and they've always got so much good to say about him. So it's a difficult one. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of Ange. I wouldn't be surprised.
But you're right, the longer they leave it and the longer this kind of goes on. I mean, one of the problems with Tottenham is apparently the Vinay Venkatesham, who's come in, one of his great things is a good communicator. You would let, Perry will probably tell us, would let the Arsenal fans know what was going on. And this has always been a problem at Tottenham. We never really know what the board, what the hierarchy are thinking at any one point.
No, you're right, like you said. And like for me, I never liked it. Like I said, I'm one of them. I'd like to know what's going on. I'm sure the players and the fans do too also. But there's obviously some difficult conversations happening. We've seen changes on the board. We've seen Donna leaving, who, like I said, I was there 20 years ago, and Donna was always at the side of Daniel. So that's an interesting one. So I'm guessing there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
And you're wondering as a player, if you're talking to your agents, talking to a club, you're thinking, well, shall I sign for Spurs? I don't know who the manager's going to be. I might sign, he doesn't fancy me. So you just won't do anything like that until it's decided.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, behind closed doors, there's different conversations, because who knows, they could be saying, look, this is going to be the new manager.
You
know what I mean? So this is who's coming in. Where are you going to come sign for us? So like I said, behind closed doors, these conversations are happening also. So I'm sure there's a lot of, like I said, big conversations happening there right now.
Well, we're going to talk Arsenal in a minute, because Perry Groves is going to join us. I'm going to ask Perry, which manager wouldn't he like us to get at Spurs if they are going to make a change?
That's because a good guy.
Yeah, that's right. He has kind of highlighted one, he said to me the other day, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Aaron sticking around. Perry Groves is going to join us for a chat as well. Later on, Gavin Henson joins us. We're going to be talking about the Lions, of course, and Welsh rugby and more besides. So lots more to come from the George Inn in London. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation, who've teamed up with Macmillan and Greene King pubs for Men's Health Week. Welcome back to the George Inn, special show this afternoon with Macmillan. Aaron Lennon is with us, and we've been joined by his fellow winger. Having a bit of a chat off there.
Bit of wing chat.
Bit of wing chat.
No, he can actually cross it.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you keep missing the first man all the time?
The kind of Perry Groves, I haven't even mentioned your name. It's good to see you, Perry.
Good to see you, boys.
The kind of art of the winger has changed. Everybody wants to invert these days. They would have had you playing on the left, cutting inside. I don't remember you doing a lot of that, Aaron, really.
Not so much, no. Like I said, the odd game.
You kind of switch. They switch just now and again.
Switch now and then for the odd game, but like I said, nowadays you do well to see a right-footed player playing on the right wing.
Yeah.
Like I said, so it's completely inverted. And even I talk to young wide players now, and they all want to play inside. They don't even want to stand in. We used to hug the touchline.
Yeah.
Just to get chalk on your boots, Aaron. Stand actually on the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end days are long gone, I think. Like I said, there's an odd couple of players like Doku. Maybe he's a bit old school, but he's still playing on the opposite side. He's still playing on the left.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, it has changed.
Did you do a bit of inverting, Perry? George, was he an inverter?
Graham, if you'd have come inside, he'd have said, if you do that one more time, I will give you the hook. But coming inside and playing a little 1-2, little give and go was fine.
Yeah.
But he was with me because I was really quick. And he said, look, all you got to do is engage the fullback. You run diagonally to go on the outside. You might play it 1-2.
Yeah.
But what happens is, I say the same thing with wingers. You know, parents come up and say, oh, he's a winger. Say, please go on the outside. Because what happens is, you go on the outside, the other three defenders of the opposition have to change their body angle.
Yeah.
They have to change it by 45 degrees, and they can't see what's behind them.
Yeah.
And a centre forward of any clout, if you kept coming inside or onto right foot on the left foot, all that enables the back forward to do the opposition is just squeeze out a little bit, and the centre halves know where you are.
Yeah.
The trouble is in football, the coaches get these ideas and nobody wants to go against it. Whereas Chelsea, they did switch Maduaki last year towards the end of the season, and it worked for him. It worked for Chelsea.
Switch him in the final.
Yeah, it
worked
worked
perfectly.
Yeah.
And I watch Arsenal a lot, obviously. And Bukayo Saka obviously now gets doubled up on all the time. Martinelli could be on the left or my trust side. And I do at the Emirates, and there are 15 analysts, all their little laptops, whatever, which is fine. And I asked one of them, I said, have you ever thought about just for 10-15 minutes, Bukayo Saka go on the left-hand side and Martinelli come on the right-hand side? Because, Aaron, too, it gives the fullbacks different problems.
It gives them massive different problems.
What did they say?
They said, oh, yeah, well, we know that, thanks very much. What do you know? You don't know about.
But it also frees up that space for like your older guards. So once you said you start taking it on the outside, it frees up that space. I used to do it with like Robbie Keane, and he used to love it. He said, Aaron, go down the outside, and he'd just pop into that pocket, and all of a sudden he's buzzing because he's got that free space. You turn back out, you give it to him, and all of a sudden it opens up the whole different picture. But yeah, like we said, who are we to say? Like I said,
and there was an element, because people were expecting you to go outside, so there was an element of surprise. I saw you score a good couple of goals at Tottenham where suddenly you went inside and they weren't expecting it, and the space opened up for
no,
you.
100%. I tell you, any wide player, you mix your game up, go inside, go outside. Like you said, you go outside a couple of times, and it's playing cat and mouse. Like I said, sometimes I'd go outside the first one, the next one I'm going to drive inside. It's just mixing your game up and becoming unpredictable to the fullback.
Well, we got Arsenal and Spurs here, so it's been a question since the Europa League final. Maybe it is time to decide with these two players.
I got away with it.
Who had the better season between the two?
I was on last week, I thought, that's Andy. Just put that to one side.
Let's ask the question.
Arsenal know that they are done. This is not their night. This is not their season. And they're out of the Champions League. Vicario takes it. It's glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. The Europa League league is theirs.
Tottenham end the season 17th in the Premier League. Thank goodness for the Europa League.
One word answer. Who had the better season, Arsenal or Spurs?
Spurs.
Who had the best season? I think Arsenal had the best season. You know, Spurs did well. I mean, it's probably one of the dullest finals I've seen for many, many years.
Arsenal's record in Europe is a disgrace. Arsenal are the runt of the litter. They're the runt.
Season and overall, it's about winning trophies. And yeah, we beat Real Madrid, but what does it mean? What does it mean now? Nothing.
Very bitter old Frank Warren there, wasn't he? I thought it was a great game. Great game of football. I mean, look, I suppose when I was talking to you about the other day, Perry, when we were doing a show together, I suppose the question is, who would you rather be now? Would you rather be in Arsenal's shoes going forward, or would you rather be in Tottenham's? So maybe we should be asking that question.
Well, I'm a Gooner, so I'm going to say even if Arsenal got relegated, probably Arsenal. But if you look at the levels, and Arsenal were playing at the elite level last season in the Champions League, trying to win the Premier League. Spurs are playing in the level below because the Europa League is the level below. Yeah. But if you're in the competitions and you win, no one's going to care in 25, 30 years' time that Spurs come 17th and the final was one of the worst finals you've probably seen. As long as you win it, no one cares. But it's a strange thing from Spurs' point of view, because you've been a Spurs fan, Paul, right? It was feast or famine. There was no in between for Spurs. It was either be the worst season that you've ever had in living memory, or one of the best. Not the best, because obviously I go back to the Glenn Hoddle, Graham Roberts era, you know, FA Cups and UEFA Cup winners, whatever. So at elite level, Arsenal have had the best season because you're playing at different levels at the moment. So I would say that it's comparable, and it rescued your season, and it's rescued you for another 20 years, because no one now can throw Spursy. No, seriously. Cause
we're not going to win anything for 20 years, Perry. You're really bringing me down.
No, you know what I mean, because you've always had, you haven't won anything. Yeah. And if you lose a game, you're a little bit Spursy. No one can say that to you now, because you've won a major trophy in Europe.
Yeah. But how do you see? I'm sorry, Andy.
No, I was just going to say, Arsenal are so close to having a great team. Yeah. And it is odd that they didn't buy a striker. Everybody knew they needed it. That's how the season turned out. Yeah. You know, and same this summer. They just have to get that man in.
I think what it is from Arteta's point of view, he said about a 5-year plan, right? This is the fifth full year, and he knows for him it's feast or famine next season, because if we're not in at least the top 2 after 15 games, he knows the pressure's going to come on. And I said in the January transfer window, I would go on and put a bid in for Liam Delap. Because if you just knew they were going down, if you go and buy him at that time for 35, 40 million, he comes in and he gets you 8 to 10 goals, that gives you a better chance, obviously, winning the title. If he doesn't, and it doesn't work, you can still sell him for 25, 30, because he's an Arsenal player. Yeah. So, and you didn't know, obviously, we lost Edu as a sporting director. Jason Ater come in, who's very young. So then you don't know if they're going to Arteta and going, we've got this centre forward for you, and he's going, no, it doesn't fit my requirements, or they're not giving him a set. Do you know what I mean? So you don't know what the race sit behind, but everybody knows it has to be a centre forward.
Yeah. Aaron, how do you think you'd feel in that Tottenham dressing room at the moment? You've gone out, you won a trophy, you've got that sort of monkey off your back as a team. It's been going on for ages, but you'll know you've not had a good season. You know, for a lot of different reasons.
Be honest, Aaron.
But you know you've had a bad season, really, don't you? It must be a bit of an odd feeling for some of those players.
100%. Like I said, you can't lie. Spurs had a bad season. We know that. The players in that dressing room know that. But at the same, I always said this at the start of the season. You go to the start of the season. What's your objective? Spurs would have been to get Champions League football and potentially win a trophy.
Yeah.
Arsenal's would have been to probably win the league now, because they've come close 3 times, come second. I don't think it was close this season, but that would have been probably the objective at the start of the season, and potentially win a trophy also. So from that point of view, I would say Spurs has had the better season.
In terms of objectives?
Objectives at the start of the season, when you set out at the beginning.
You're not having that, Perry?
Pardon?
Well, I mean, you didn't fulfil your objective.
Not in the Premier League. If you looked in the Champions League, obviously it was a good Champions League performance coming up to PSG. By conkers, we're the second best team in Europe. Not the first, not the first that Arteta said. Yeah. But if you looked at PSG, that semi-final was a lot closer than what the final was. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We gave so there's different levels in the Premier League. We fell off. We drew too many. People forget we only lost 4 games. We drew 14.
You scored a lot less goals.
Exactly, and that's what you need. As the top scorer was Kai Havertz, who was injured on the the winter break in Dubai, and he had 9 Premier League goals.
Yeah.
So you haven't got to be an analyst or algorithms to work out what is the missing piece.
The trouble is, it's all academic, because when you look at what Liverpool and City are doing this summer already, you think, well, that's those two way in the distance, I think.
I think it'd be more competitive, Anne. I think it'd be the three.
City
Premier League will be better.
When you saw Cherky last night, they get him as well.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be on the level that Man City have been with Pep Guardiola. You're replacing players like Kevin De Bruyne.
Of course.
Their legs, they need new legs if they've got. But how many players come straight into Premier League and go, actually, I'm all right with this?
And that's another thing, like I said. These are top players, by the way. But I said, to come in and hit the ground running is a different story. To come into a new country, settle, the family settle. Like you said, one of them might do it, but will all the 3 of them do it? Or 4? How many are they going to buy? They've also lost a lot of senior players in that dressing room.
Sure.
The likes of, obviously, Kyle Walker, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan probably going to believe in. These are 3 key figures. Rodri is obviously a massive one coming back, but they're also massive they're like the 3 captains they were.
Sure,
3 of the captains are now probably going to be leaving the football club.
Maybe
Stones is maybe another one.
True.
So that's a big one.
We're going to let you go, Aaron. Thanks ever so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you coming down to see us. And look after yourself. Always. Keep well.
He hasn't put on any weight.
I know. He looks like
you've finished in 3 years.
You've got Soccer Aid coming.
I've got Soccer Aid next week. I have to look after myself.
So how's that training been going for Soccer Aid? All good?
No, really good. All good. No scares as yet. Like I said, a couple of more sessions, and then we meet up next Thursday for the game on Sunday. So really looking forward to it.
Any of the celebs yet? Have you been training with anybody who's kind of caught your eye?
No, we don't. We meet up next week. Next week Thursday to join up with everybody. So I've just been training back home in Manchester, doing a little bit in the gym, play a little bit of 9-a-side on a Tuesday with some of the ex-pros up there. So that's been good, getting me going. So I'm really ready for it.
Someone always pulls a hamstring in charity games. Someone always pulls. Doesn't matter if it's one of the celebrities or a play, because you get the ball, didn't you? Go out, have a little kick about, and smash the balls everywhere.
Bolt did it, I think, last year, didn't he?
Yeah. There's always one. Hopefully it's not me.
Cheers, Aaron. All the best.
Pleasure, chaps.
Take care. Look after yourself. There's Aaron Lennon there. Perry Grove's going to stick around. Laura Smith, comedian, West Ham fan, joining us for a chat in the next hour. We're here at the George Inn in London Bridge with our good friends at Toolstation, their charity partner, Macmillan. You can scan the QR code to find out more.
Could we be counting down to Big Ange being canned by Spurs? Daniel Levy's remained tight-lipped over the future of the manager. Former Tottenham defender Ramon Vega is furious. Postecoglou's position is even in doubt.
For me, absolute major disrespectful towards the manager, towards the player. If you consider what these guys went through just only this season with the injuries and the way the team, I'm calling it dressing room. Ray knows how it works. You know, when the dressing room falls apart, that's where everything falls apart. And I'm telling you now, these players playing fit these coach.
Peterborough chairman Darren McAntony believes Ange deserves another season.
Because if Daniel Levy and Ange are in a room and Ange said to Daniel Levy, what do you want next year, chairman? The answer would be a trophy in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Has he delivered that? Regardless of how he got there.
He's gone the long way round, though.
Doesn't matter. Has he delivered that?
Elsewhere, David Beckham is about to become Sir David. It's reported Becks will get a knighthood in the King's Birthday Honours list. talkSPORT's United supporting chief football correspondent Alex Crook thinks it's about damn time.
Whatever you think of Beckham as a footballer, he's one of those unique people who transcends his sport. Everybody knows who David Beckham is, whether you're a football fan or not. I think you look at the role he played in getting the Olympics to London in 2012. That alone for me should have been enough to earn a knighthood. Then you chuck in all the charity work.
Next, new Chelsea striker Liam Delap has been left out of England's under-21 squad for the Euros as he prioritises a Club World Cup campaign with the Blues. Former Ipswich midfielder Darren Ambrose says he'd have done the same.
I don't think whatever he does in an under-21 shirt, if he's good enough and if he does it for Chelsea in the Premier League, is going to affect anything to do with any senior call-up. I don't see this as an argument. There's enough quality in the under-21s to go and win that tournament.
And one of the country's most famous bakers has finally settled the great talkSPORT breakfast scone debate.
To be honest, I do end up putting jam on first and then the cream, clotted cream.
Because you put the cream on and then the jam goes all over.
I know, it just pours out from the top of the cream and pours all over your floor. But no, I would put the jam on first, set that, and then the clotted cream on top.
It's been a slow week.
Good afternoon, it is Paul Hawksbee and Annie Jacobs. We are live from the George Inn, a drinking pub in Southwark, just south of the river, and historic old booze of this dating back to 1676. Not so bad, just to say, Andy's your christening that year, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, if I was christened.
Yeah, of course, it wouldn't be, would you? I didn't really thought about that, yeah. It would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? Yeah.
You said that once, forgot away of it.
Yeah. Your bar mitzvah was obviously the start of the 1680s.
So, yeah. We had the after party.
Yeah. Perry Groves has stuck around with us, and we'll come back to the sport in a minute. Perry, you were very upfront about your struggles, and you came onto the station to talk about them. And Andy and I have known you for a long time. We played a bit of cricket together, and you know,
I honestly had no idea.
I mean, we didn't. I mean, I think that was the biggest shock. It probably was a big shock to a lot of people that knew you. We've been talking a lot about having conversations and being upfront about it, but I think a lot of people would have been surprised you were struggling so much.
Yeah, I was sort of surprised. I've got to be honest, I was surprised myself. I didn't realise, you don't know that you're going to have a breakdown. You know, you don't, like one week you think, oh, I think I'm going to have a mental and physical breakdown in a week's time.
Yeah.
And it was February the 5th, 2023. It was on a Sunday. I was supposed to be doing the Sunday session, obviously coming to work. And when I woke up, I was mentally and physically just shot, just gone, completely gone, like just couldn't function. So I phoned up, obviously talkSPORT to say that obviously I wasn't feeling very well, couldn't do it, and I thought it'll pass. And I didn't equate the way that I was feeling to alcohol and my alcoholism, because I just thought I was one of the lads who was, in inverted commas, a good drinker, who just went out, had a good time. But what had happened was, in my private life, I was causing more carnage and mayhem on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
And I always thought an alcoholic was someone who was on a park bench, you know, with like a couple of bottles of wine, had lost everything, you know, just on their own. Because I was a binge drinker. But you can be alcoholism takes like different traits and forms. So yeah, and I was very lucky. And again, on the men's mental health side of it, my era was you don't talk about if you have any problems, not just mental health problems, you don't talk about if you have any problems, because my dad is comes from the East End. He's obviously, my granddad was obviously from the war, so they never talked about the war at all, never talked about problems. And I can remember my dad, if I come to him, I think I was about 6 or 7, I'd been bullied at school, whatever. I remember going to him, and I was obviously very upset. He went, "Don't come to me with problems." He said, "I'm not going to be there to help you out with your problems when you're older. Go and sort them out yourself," right? But that is just that era. And my dad's my hero. And I wouldn't be the person I am today without my dad, right? But if you think about it, you think, well, I'm only 7, what answer have I got? I haven't got any answers. But it was just a generational thing, and it was seen as a sign of weakness to actually talk to someone about you're struggling. You know, you could talk to someone and say, my ankle's killing me at the minute, or my problem with me. But if you actually said, I'm having these strange thoughts, or I'm feeling like anxiety, or I feel depressed, that would be seen as a sign of weakness. So
you've been back to Sporting, Chance. They were a great help. I mean, you got in touch with your old teammate Tony Adams, didn't you?
I was very lucky. My wife, Josie, if it wasn't Josie, then I probably wouldn't be in the situation I am today, because she stuck by me. We can together 18 years, and she was the rock when I was going through those really difficult times. She phoned up Sporting Chance, and lucky enough they had a space. So I went in the next week. I went in the following Monday, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. But even going into Sporting Chance, I was in denial. I didn't think that I had an alcohol problem, because I thought, I'll go in there, I'll go into treatment for about 26, 27, I'll come out, it looks like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. After about 6 months, I can have a few beers again, I'll be fine. It's not until you go in there, then your alcoholism starts unraveling before you, and then you realise you have different issues and mental health issues and psychological, and you realise that there's help there. Do you know what I mean? You realise, yes, and other people think the same as how I was thinking, and that gives you strength, because your brain is the most powerful organ in your body, right? And 9 times out of 10, your brain over-catastrophizes.
Yeah.
It never says how, unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo, where everything's going to be, because he's, you look at him. But
we don't even know.
Exactly.
No, he could have all sorts of issues.
I was exactly saying, he might have his own issues.
Sure.
Personally, you never know, right? But he's very good at being the public Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, what your brain is telling you is going to go wrong never happens.
Sure.
Never goes wrong. So it's about speaking. Can I just read something from, it's quite ironic, I got it today actually. It was a thought of the day from Robin Williams, and it was obviously he had well documented mental health problems himself, and he said, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always. And that really with me, I got that message this morning. So
I can do the first bit, I can't do the second.
Yeah, you know what Andy's like.
When it comes to Chelsea and
be kind sometimes, Andy.
Exactly, yeah.
Subscribes to.
But it's, if you speak to somebody, you feel better straight away anyway.
Yeah.
And that person you speak to, it's not that person to give you answers. That person might just go, you know what, I've had times when I felt like that, and things will get better and you'll come out of it. So it's just you just got to speak to people.
When you played, did you suffer from this performance anxiety or anything like that? You did?
Yeah, no, well, I thought it was nerves, like you said. And I don't believe, when people say at elite sport, at any sporting level, that they don't get nervous, I really, honestly, I don't believe them, because you can have nerves that are excitable, and that can be positive energy that you're getting excited, because you get a different feeling in your stomach and in your being yourself.
That's not that fear of failing.
Or people do have fear of failing. And I'm lucky enough to be in contact with Robbie Williams, right? Now I don't know if you've seen the film Better Man. It is one of the best films I've ever seen. Now you would think Robbie Williams on stage would have no anxiety, the most confident person in the world. And I spoke to him and I've watched the film, and he said no, he actually has insecurities and he has anxieties and different stuff that goes on his head, and he's got these demons. And when I spoke to him, and I thought, oh my God, if Robbie Williams is feeling like that, I don't feel that I'm like a freak, or I'm having these strange thoughts, that I'm just human, and that's what happens. So as I say,
So you go back to Sporting Chance, you keep in touch. Just we were talking to Aaron Lennon about this earlier on. He has to kind of keep on top of it. He doesn't take the fact. You can never say, I'm better now. You have to work at it.
Yeah, what it is, in recovery, it's one day at a time. And that's where you can actually lose that, not just in your addiction and your alcoholism or gambling or drugs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a good message just in life in general, because what you say is, I can't change what happened yesterday. I don't know what's happening tomorrow, but I can live in the day. So I went back to Sporting Chance because basically you go and do a share where it's share your experiences, and what happens is the 5 fellas that are in there this month, they look at me and think he's been through exactly the same experience. He's been in exactly the same spot that I'm sitting now, feeling exactly the same as me. And there was a young jockey in there who come up to me afterwards. He was like 27, and he said, every bit of your share, he said, was me. I could equate. And what happens as well is when you come out of Sporting Chance, which I've said before, is you're sort of protected a little bit in there. You're doing when you come out, the real world is really scary, because you start feeling, you have feelings. I didn't have feelings before, because when I was drinking, I was looking forward to having a drink, or it was masking stuff. So then you think sometimes, is this anxiety? Am I feeling a bit depressed, or is it just normal everyday feelings?
Didn't do a lot for your wicket keeping.
That was
a can of beer, probably.
Exactly, The thing is, I was too busy sledging when I was trying to get in the other person's head.
We're going to chat a bit later on, Perry, but we just get Gabrielle sign a new deal, which I'm sure you're delighted about.
Do come true. So
yes, indeed. I mean, not a massive surprise. We spoke to his missus a little while ago. I didn't sense that she was looking for houses elsewhere. She was on the show.
Signing to keep your best players.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because then it just takes that story away as well. You know, we know that there's 4 big players that come into the last 2 years of their contract, and if you was an Arsenal player now, you'd be looking at number 1. I'd wait. I must admit, if it was me and I was that good, I'd wait to see who we signed. But I think he'd have been told, by the way, we're going big this summer. Because you've gone through this is like 3, we mentioned before, 3 runners up, right?
Sure.
As Andy said there, they're so close. You'd be thinking, I don't want to be leaving, and this could be the season. But then you've got to make sure that Arsenal this season have to win the Premier League or the Champions League. It has to be one of those 2.
Perry, we'll chat later. Thanks again for your honesty, and look after yourself as always. But Perry goes back with us a little bit later on. Laura Smith's going to join us in a few moments' time. West Ham fan, comedian, and you're listening to Hawksbee and Jacobs. We're live from the George Inn at London Bridge with our good friends at Toolstation, and we've teamed up with Macmillan and Greene King for Men's Health Week. 2 for Racing Live with Rupert and Lizzie. Okay, I'm getting a bit of a dub feedback. I don't know what's going on there.
And the music was loud then,
Yeah, it was. Anyway, we're delighted to say, joining us now at the George is comedian, West Ham fan, Laura Smith. Hi, Laura.
Hello, how you doing?
Yes, we're good, thank you.
How have you swung this?
It's not bad, is it?
I know.
At least the sun's out. It's a bit windy, but it's not a bad
Afternoon
spot.
in a beer garden on
Yeah, it could
Friday.
be.
Very nice
Yeah,
indeed.
Drinking water. Everybody keeps coming up and offering us drinks. They must
Oh,
get
what?
it.
Oh,
No.
don't. Let me at them. Let me at them. Let me at them.
I like your T-shirt, just those Chaz and Dave.
Chaz and Dave.
Look at that.
Tremendous.
We give them credentials.
Big Tottenham fans, so God bless you
I
for
know,
wearing that.
I know. I knew you'd pick up on that.
Yeah.
You're Smith with a Y, aren't you? Are Smith with a Y more posh than ordinary Smiths?
Well, it's my married name. It's Northern Irish, and I wondered what that was about, the Smith with a Y. And I asked a dear friend, a Northern Irish friend, a Catholic Northern Irish friend, and she just said it's Protestant.
Oh,
really? Okay, fair enough.
You have a new radio show. Now, let's talk about that first.
I do.
It's a really good idea. So
Thank you.
tell us a bit about it.
Your mum?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called. So well, I do a little bit of material about being a mum, having a mum, as we all do, or have at some point, and then I interview celebrity guests about their mum. Do you know what it is? You know when you get to know someone, then you meet their mum and you go,
yeah,
I get it now. That explains it. So it's a little bit celebratory. It's almost like the opposite of the old podcast where everyone wants to talk about the, you know,
how terrible
it all is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to go, you know, they've done their best, and we're all here to tell the tale. You know.
Any of the mums been in the audience during the recordings of these?
No, my mum was going to come to a recording, but she couldn't get anyone to have the dog, so she just went to me, "Don't worry, I'll fall out with you when I hear it."
Perfect.
So when are they going out, Laura?
The first one's on 25th of June on Radio 4, 6:30 p.m. Little plug on Radio 4, BBC Radio 4. No, and then
I don't think we're massive. I don't think we're massively in competition.
I know.
You're gonna. What shall I listen to tonight? Sports Bar on a Moral Maze,
I know.
which is in itself a kind of very similar show.
Even doing a promotion for it has made me laugh because the people either listen to it or they don't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're either on, people pick their radio station. So no competition, but it is rather funny.
6:30 it's going out.
Yes, comedy.
Fantastic. What day of the week?
Wednesday, 6:30, 25th, yep.
We're here at Macmillan today, and I remember reading an interview with you sort of last year, telling the story of how you were a teacher,
yes,
and you went into stand-up, and within weeks of going into stand-up, you were diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer.
I was indeed. And we were talking about it before I've come on air. It's so funny. It knocks you for 6. Everyone knows it does. You know, you think you hope it's something benign. You hope it's something you're sort of worrying for no reason. Then sure enough, you know, it got confirmed to be stage 3 breast cancer. And I would say, you know, you think it's going to be a bit bish bash bosh. They're going to clear it, and then you sort of get stuck in bish sometimes because it's like, you know, you have surgeries and treatment. But I'm here 3.5 years later and thriving.
You are. You look well.
I do look well, thank you.
Has it sort of changed you as a person? Has it changed your outlook on life?
Yes. Yeah. What's it done for me? Well, yeah, I think puts things into perspective. I feel a lot more grateful, feel a lot more present. I mean, I've had my boobs removed, my ovaries removed. I'm on hormone blockers, so I'm pretty much a bloke at this stage. You know, I'm always checking my accumulator on the weekend. You know, that's not
That's good.
And you're all good now?
I'm very well, thank you very
That's
much.
good.
Feeling good.
In a little of that piece I read in The Guardian, you talked about the right things to say, the things that kind of pushed your buttons at the time, and because it's so difficult, there is no right or wrong thing.
Exactly.
When someone says they've got cancer, they've been diagnosed, nobody quite knows what to say. What were some of the things that drove you a little bit mad at the time?
I mean, again, people say the wrong thing out of fear of saying the wrong things, and then they say the wrong thing, you get in a panic, and mostly people jump in and try and give a solution, and they kind of go, oh, let me know if there's anything you can do, and you think that's too vague, and you're so at sea yourself, or they go, oh, my aunt had it, and you go, I don't care, you know. And they sort of jump in that sort of panic, but mostly you just want someone to hit, like anything you're going through in life, whether it's you're bereaved or you got the ump at work or whatever it is, you want people to listen to you.
Yeah,
that is it. Listen. That's the main thing, and see where you're at, because you know, like anything, no two people are going to have the same reaction to the same thing, are they? You know?
No, absolutely. You are a West Ham fan as well.
I am.
So, is that sort of geographically, or was it your parents or whatever?
Geographically, yeah. I'm an East Londoner. I'm in E7, so I used to very much enjoy walking the length of Greene Street for match day. A little bit out of love with it since it's been at the London Stadium.
Yeah.
I hope I can say that. I'm excited about the big signing that happened. You know, Danny Dyer and Bowen have signed the marriage.
He can't go anywhere now, can he? That's the thing.
He can't go, can
They've tied him to the club, Jared.
I love it. I just picture Danny Dyer Senior shedding a tear as he turned around and saw Bowen in his suit. You know, I'm so excited by it. I love it. It's just like a modern day fairy tale. I love it. So yeah, I can't say I'm a big football expert, but I am. It's sort of a personality trait being a West Ham fan, you know.
Do you go to the new stadium to matches?
Not often, you know, because I've got the little ones, but my middle child now, she's nearly 10, and she's got into football. She plays for Clapton FC girls, you know. So that's just, so we take them to Clapton FC sometimes as well, because it's just, you know, £5 to get in.
Yeah, I've got granddaughters that play. That's one of the best things about the rise of women's football, that you've got these kids really getting into it. It's terrific.
They love it. They absolutely love it. So she just broke her arm, actually, though, so she's out for 6 weeks.
What, playing football or not?
Gymnastics bar, donut. She loves it, though. She's middle child, so she's king of the hill now. She's got a broken arm in a cast. Are you mad? All the attention. cut up my steak for me, Dad.
What football mums like at that age? I mean, you're on the touchline. Is it all kick off? Because it can do sometimes with a footall dads at youth level, can't it?
Well, Clapton FC's all just, it's the woke brigade, isn't it? So they're all like, well done. Whatever happens, so it's nice, you know.
And you're not bucking that trend. You're not like giving it, slagging the ref off.
No,
and
do
stuff.
you know what? I live right near sort of Wantsey Flats, which is like the home of Sunday football, and that is so funny. You'll have this dad screaming, Stanley, man on, and you look round, it's a 3-year-old. You know what I mean? So, no, I find it quite funny. No, they're not really competitive, my kids, actually, quite funnily enough. I'm competitive, so I think I have to stay away just for the sake of sake of my neighbours.
And you don't play? We speak to Maisie Adams now and again, who plays a bit of football. You've not been tempted to put... There must be Clapton ladies.
Well, there are, but they're sorry, but they're actually good. No, I'm not that. Do you know what? I'm really competitive, actually, so I think it's safe if I don't get involved. But not really on the old football. No.
You're going to be up in Edinburgh, aren't you? Doing some shows.
Yep, just because I did a sell-out tour last year, so now I've got 3 days of just a work in progress. I think that's enough in Edinburgh for me, enough for my liver. So I just doing 3 days work in progress at Monkey Barrel, so that'll be on the 11th, 12th and 13th of August. But I did my first run-through of the new show yesterday at the Rick Mell Comedy Festival, which was nice. And I thought, hang on, this has gone surprisingly well, so it should be good by the time I get to Edinburgh.
Well, Charlie would like you to send you his love.
I love that man. What a comedian.
Funny bones.
Funny bones. Talent, and he can sing.
I know. He's a triple threat, isn't he? I don't know what the third threat is.
He's handsome. Gordie's handsome. But yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Lovely to see you, Laura.
Lovely to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Care. It's great
Enjoy
pleasure.
the pub. Well done for swinging this.
Yes, tremendous. Go and check it out. Your Mum, 25th of June on Radio 4 at 6:30 every Wednesday. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Gavin Henson joining us for a chat next.
Hollywood would be counting down to Big Ange being canned by Spurs. Daniel Levy's remained tight-lipped over the future of the manager. Former Tottenham defender Ramon Vega is furious Postecoglou's position is even in doubt.
For me, absolute major disrespectful towards the manager, towards the player. If you consider what these guys went through just only this season with the injuries and the way the team, I'm calling it dressing room. Ray knows how it works. You know, when the dressing room falls apart, that's where everything falls apart. And I'm telling you now, these players playing for these coaches.
Elsewhere, David Beckham is about to become Sir David. It's reported Becks will get a knighthood in the King's Birthday Honours list. talkSPORT's United supporting chief football correspondent Alex Crook thinks it's about damn time.
Whatever you think of Beckham as a footballer, he's one of those unique people who transcends his sport. Everybody knows who David Beckham is, whether you're a football fan or not. I think you look at the role he played in getting the Olympics to London in 2012. That alone, for me, should have been enough to earn a knighthood.
And one of the country's most famous bakers has finally settled the great talkSPORT breakfast scone debate.
To be honest, I do end up putting jam on first and then the cream, clotted cream.
Because you put the cream on and then the jam goes all over.
I know, it just pours out from the top of the cream and pulls all over your floor. But no, I would put the jam on first, set that, and then the clotted cream on top.
It's been a slow week.
Hawksbee and Jacobs live from the George Inn in Southwark in London with Macmillan Toolstation and our good friends at Greene King. We're going to be chatting to Gavin Henson in a few moments' time because the football season may be over, but there's still plenty of exciting action coming your way on talkSPORT this summer, including the British and Irish Lions tour down under.
Huge feeling around the stadium, and we are now about to get underway.
2025 British and Irish Lions captain. Tomorrow told you.
Extremely humbled and privileged to be here. You just have to rip it, whether it's a Lions tour or whether it's a World Cup, you just have to rip it.
George North scores the try! Welcome to British and Irish Lions rugby. What a score!
Being picked is the easy bit. To win for the Lions in a test match is the ultimate.
And those wearing the red of the British and Irish Lions raise their arms in celebration.
He's like no other. He comes thick and fast the games.
He gives it inside to Sexton! Another try for the Lions.
There are 26 lads on the team selected there that this is their first time touring.
Yeah, it's pretty special, man. Trying to drink it all in, I suppose.
It's an absolute privilege. I don't think it has sunk in. I'm not sure when it will, I suppose.
There's a freshness about it, which is exciting, but we've got work to do.
He's given it a good whack. Has he got the distance? Yes, it has. It has the accuracy too. Game tie.
Biggest day in your rugby lives. Biggest day in your rugby lives.
Gets the ball to Sean O'Brien for one of the greatest tries ever scored.
This is your Everest, boys, because the moment's arriving for the greatest game of your life.
Yes, we'll bring you live commentary of all three test matches plus the warm-up games. They get underway at the Aviva in Dublin 2 weeks today, as well as exclusive content from Australia. And talkSPORT is the only place on national radio where you can follow all the Lions action. A British and Irish Lion joins us now, went in 2005 to take on the All Blacks. It is the former Wales player, Gavin Henson. Hi, Gavin.
Hi, guys. All right, nice to be here.
Yeah. I mean, we were at the launch the other week, which they did at the O2 when they announced the squad, Gavin. How did you find out you were in the squad in 2005?
Oh, again, like everyone else on the news, I think. But you know, I was very on form, so it was a given I was going. So not too much of a surprise.
You weren't at all nervous. You just knew you were going to be in.
Not at all. And it's funny to watch these days. They're all sitting down and they're all cheering and getting nervous. But no, I suppose that was what I was a bit like back in those days, a bit arrogant and everything. I thought I'd be the first name on the sheet, you know.
Now you played in the second test. Yeah. Brian O'Driscoll was injured. You came in for the second test, but then you picked up an injury as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I got concussed actually. Tried to tackle Rick O'Gear in the corner, hit his hip, did my shoulder, labrum, tore that, and concussed. But I carried on playing. I didn't realise. I didn't know where I was.
Just adrenaline getting you through.
Yeah, adrenaline. You know, playing for the British Lions. You know, you don't come off easy there. So yeah, not a great day for myself or for the whole squad. Basically, you know, it was a bad tour. But no, I've had a British Lions cap, so I've got to be proud of that.
What is when you get that call up to be part of it? Did it feel very special?
Yeah, it did, but you know, we just come on the back of a Grand Slam, first time for Wales. You know, for how many years? It was massive. I always dreamed of playing for Wales was my thing, and then obviously getting the British Lions call was great, and then couldn't wait to get involved in it. But it was such a massive squad. It wasn't really the best, to be honest. Yeah, it was quite a disappointment for everyone. You know, no one really played well on it, and yeah, we kind of got embarrassed really over there.
We've spoken to a few guys who played for the Lions, and they've said, those that have travelled to more one country say New Zealand's the hardest because everybody knows about rugby. You can kind of go a bit missing in Australia or South Africa, but like there'll be old dears down in a barn. They say, "Oh, you're Gavin Henson," and they know all about it. They probably know all your stats.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're rugby knowledgeable, but also the British Lions supporters come over in their waves, which was amazing. Yeah. And, no doubt that will happen in Australia, but you know, we have a much better chance now against Australia. Yeah. They're obviously not in great form, but it's their pinnacle. You know, it's their once in a lifetime to play against the British Lions. So I think they are going to shock us. I don't think it's going to be a 3-0. I think they'll probably win the first test, and then I think we'll come back and win 2-1, which would be great. It'll be an exciting tour then to watch.
Are you a good rugby watcher, Gavin? Do you still enjoy watching the game or not?
Yeah, I do watch it. I more watch the internationals, if anything. The game is not great. It is getting better. Like in Wales, where we're from, we're really struggling. You know, the Welsh team is awful at the moment. It's not good. And we got a big tour to Japan, so that's going to be an interesting one. You know, I think that's going to be a tough one for us. Matchrat, the new coach, top coach, but it's a massive step up for him going against Eddie Jones as well. So,
how much has rugby changed since you played?
It is a lot faster, to be fair. It's a lot of quicker game, and the boys are a lot bigger now. They're massive now, so the physicality is huge. It's non-stop. But I don't know. I look at it and I still think I can do a job, but that's in the Welsh team.
You still look good.
I'm still playing, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still playing lower level, though, with my home club, Pencoed. So still enjoying it, still going. Can't quite let it go yet.
That's interesting, isn't it? That, you know, you get some people in sport that they keep playing on because they do it for the love of the game, and there's others when they've done it professionally, when they stop, they stop.
Yeah, of course, and I did stop initially. You know, I own a pub now, pub restaurant, gastro pub, the Fox. We just got 2 rosettes, so it's a proper place. Nice. Yeah, it's nice, it's really good. So that takes up a lot of my time.
You better tell us where it is.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, in St. Bride's Major, and a little village where I'm from. I've lived there all my life, so it's nice. We've got great locals as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing really well.
That's
there.
a tough old business to go into. For a pub restaurant.
I didn't realise. I was a bit naive, and we've been through it all, you know, with COVID a lot. So, recruitment's the hardest part. I suppose in any business it's the same. So yeah, we've had our ups and downs, but we've got a great team at the moment, and it's going well, thank God.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some other business ventures. Well, you touched on Wales rugby. I mean, this is a really tough time, isn't it? I mean, you grew up in an era of great players, and we're not that far away from. We've seen some big retirements from big players, and they're going to make up some ground, having lost some great players.
Yeah, you know, we had that sort of golden era, you know, the Alan Wynne-Jones, the Jamie Roberts, Jonathan Davis, Dan Biggers, and we're really missing that, and it just doesn't look great at the moment. It's going to take 2 or 3 years. I think with Redding now in charge, I'm hoping he'll make some good decisions and get the right coach in. Personally, I'd like Pat Lam. Never worked with him, but I like what he's doing at Bristol Bears, and I think he can get, like, Bristol, they don't have like great players, or they didn't, and he just got them to a massive level, and the same with Connacht. So I think with Wales, we don't have the players, but I think he could do something special. So I would like Pat Lam, but we'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
I mean, well, people probably can't understand can. I mean, it's a bit like the old sort of West Indies fast bowlers, Andy, in the past, where you think it's always going to be this conveyor belt of great players because it's in the blood.
Yeah.
And there's this expectation. I mean, is it not played as much in schools? Is there other distractions? Is there more football being played? I don't know.
I think it's football. I think a lot of players are turning to football now, which I understand, and the physicality of rugby and everything, and the head knocks that's going on. It's not quite right where the game is. So a lot of kids are turning to football. But we still produce a bit of talent. It's nice to see Thomas Williams on the tour. We're always good for a scrum half. So it'd be interesting to see if he can push his way into the starting team.
There was a worry that there would be the few. I mean, I think there are the fewish Welsh names for some time, but there was a few concerns. There might only be one there, but it wasn't quite as bad as that.
Yeah, I think two more than what we thought. I think but you never know. They could push themselves into the test team, and then suddenly it's two Welsh players playing in the test team. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter who went on the tour, who starts that test team.
And the football's going well. I watched Craig Bellamy this morning. He's really
they're playing tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, unbelievable. Fair play. He's come in and done a hell of a job. So we're all behind him. So it's great for Wales. We're only a small country, so I got time for both. I'm a football supporter as well. I support Man United, so I'm having a tough time.
Wales Rugby and Manchester United have had a year, haven't they?
Yeah. We've got to believe in him, Amrin. Hopefully, see what he does now in the transfer window and give him a chance.
I think it's Jason Wilcox being appointed. I think it's a good move. And Brailsford moving aside.
True. Hasn't been quite right.
We were talking about this R360, this thing that Mike Tyndall's involved in. This kind of, it's like live rugby. They're talking about. I mean, the sort of top 40, 50 players in it, picking up £1 million a year, which is a lot of money in the world of rugby. What have you made of the idea of a breakaway league?
I need to make a comeback. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, whatever gets the game being spoken about. Rugby's not spoken about anymore. It's not a huge following at all. We're falling behind in social media stuff a lot. So if that can get people talking and it lifts the game, then I'm all for it. Because at the moment the league systems are just not great at the moment. Yeah. Even in the English Premiership, they're losing teams with the money side of things. So it's not right yet.
Gavin Henson's with us. We're going to chat when we come back. I mean, we're here today with Macmillan, and we're talking about sort of mental health and men's physical and mental well-being. And Gavin's involved in an adventure he's going to tell us a little bit more about. We'll keep chatting to Gavin in a few moments' time. We are live at the George today, as we say, with Macmillan and Greene King and Toolstation for Men's Health Week. Good afternoon, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs. We are live from the George Inn in Southwark, an historic old pub. There's been a pub on this site since 1676.
Asking me.
1676, that's it. Yeah. So, racing this afternoon, of course, it's the Derby Festival. It's Oaks Day at Epsom. Every single race of the day live over on talkSPORT 2. We're also going to bring you the Oaks at 4 p.m. today right here on talkSPORT with Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly. So if you want to be across all of the racing today, make sure you head over to talkSPORT 2 for Racing TV. The former Wales and Lions player Gavin Henson is with us here at the George, and he comes armed with two little boxes. I see. We're talking about sort of well-being, physical and mental well-being today with Macmillan here, and so a mate of yours has got a little business. You're going to tell us about what he does.
Yeah, you test. I brought you some goodies, a vitamin D test.
Okay,
that's just one of
Gavin.
the tests he does. He does the more serious ones as well, like the prostate and the bowel cancer, and this one's just a vitamin D one, but it's very
see
important.
If you're deficient.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like 1 in 5 are all deficient. So easy little test. Takes 2 minutes to get the result back, and then it just empowers you then to look after your health more. And also it takes the pressures off the doctors then with our prostate one and with the bowel health cancer. You can do it at home, and then you can get the results there and then. By the time you make a cup of tea, it's that quick.
What sort of test is it, Gavin? Is it a sort of swab or a blood test?
It's just like a little thumb prick.
Okay.
A little bit of blood out. It's all in there, and then within 2 minutes gives you the result then.
How were your vitamin D levels when you did it?
Well, luckily I'm a bit of a sun worshipper, so yeah,
right.
I'm off the scale. I'm good. I'm super healthy. I was 125, so that's massive.
That's a good mark.
Yeah, that's good.
Can you say you take vitamin D tablets?
I do, yeah, every day.
Really? Because they're kind of good for fatigue and stuff.
You to take the test and see what levels you're on there.
Yeah, see if the tablets are working.
See if the tablets are working. That's exactly right.
My thumb.
You're not pricking your thumb.
No, it doesn't
hurt. Of blood.
No, it doesn't hurt. No, it's good.
Come on.
You get someone to do it for. I'll do it for you in a minute. You can close your eyes.
I'm not doing that.
Good stuff.
Good idea.
Yeah, but maybe we should come back to the Lions very quickly, because there are a few questions around number 10. They've got some options. Who would be starting for you in the tests?
Well, it's a difficult one. Like Finn Russell, he's a superstar, great to watch. But then I like Finn Smith.
Yeah.
And he brings the best of players out of them around him. So it's a tough one. With Finn Russell, you've got to do the whole game around him. And whether we got the time with those warm-up games to do that, I'm not sure. So it's going to be a big call to put him in that first test, because the way he likes to play, he just bosses it, and everyone's got to understand him, and all these countries coming together. It's going to be a funny one. Where Finn Smith will probably just click and make other players look good, and it's all about them. So personally, I'd probably start with Finn Smith, but I think they'll go with Finn Russell.
Yeah. What's the feeling around the sort of warm-up games? Were you involved in some of those midweek games when you were out there before you played in that test?
Yeah, a little bit different. We took like 45 players. It was crazy. We had like 3 teams. It was mad. So yeah, I only played 1 or 2 games, and then that's all you got to try and get a combination together. I think going against New Zealand, they played how many games together, so it's hard. And it's going to be the same thing again, but they got less numbers. Hopefully Farrell will just pick his core group and get those combinations working well. Otherwise, yeah, we will catch a cold.
And your tours were longer. You had a bit more time to acclimatise and everything. Now, because of time constraints, they just have to turn it around pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. But it was home from home, New Zealand. It was their winter. It was like go 24 hours in the plane. It was raining.
Yeah.
That wasn't great. But Australia be a bit different. So yeah, acclimatising be part of it. But they got a hell of a group of players. It's just how they get all that combination to work, and they'll probably throw some surprises down the test game.
Why do you think some of the best coaches are coaches from rugby league, played rugby league, coached rugby league? Why does it translate?
Did you have
well?
You had a little spell there? Did you? Am I going mad? I thought you had a little spell. Did you have a spell in league?
Oh yeah, there was West Wales Raiders. Again, they were lower leagues, just trying to help them out, but it came to nothing in the end.
Do you like rugby league?
Yeah, I do. I like watching it. I like the way they beat the defence, because you've got 13 men in the front line, so that's quite hard to get through. It's a bit different in rugby. It's a bit easier. So, there's a really tough game, actually. It's, I think it's about 60 minutes ball in play, compared to rugby union. It's about 40. So it's just non-stop, so fast.
Interesting.
What's your take on Andy Farrell and the job he's likely to do? He's done a brilliant job with Ireland, of course, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course, his record speaks for itself. You know, he's a great guy as well, hell of a leader, great talker. He'll get it right, I think, but that's a big decision, that number 10 spot.
Yeah. The day that they announced the squad, we had a chat with him, and he hadn't picked Owen, and he was very up front. He said he's one of a number of players who's not completely fit yet. He's coming back after an injury. Look, he could still get a call-up. Players get injured all the time, but were you a bit surprised at that? Was he deserving of a place, you think?
He has been playing well down in France, but then again, he hasn't been playing on the international scene, so yeah. I always find it a little bit unfair if you're not playing for your country. And then obviously his old man's a coach, so it doesn't look great then, does it, either?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, good honesty, he's carrying an injury, so not ready yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is called up.
How important is the captain on a Lions tour? I mean, Maritoji's doing it this time. What were your memories of that?
Yeah, well, he's someone that everyone looks up to. Massive respect for the guy. You know, he's week in, week out for England. So yeah, everyone will be right behind him, and the fans love him. So it's a good fit. Who
was your captain in 2005? Was it?
Yeah, Brian O'Driscoll.
Brian O'Driscoll. Yeah,
so I was really looking forward to playing with him. But then he got.
It was that spear tackle, wasn't it? That spear tackle, wasn't it? In the first
test, yeah. That kind of ruined it for him and for us as well, I suppose. It went off on a weird trajectory after that. The press just went crazy, and it was just mad. Yeah.
But talking of that, and we've been talking about men's mental health. At one point, you were incredibly famous and under a lot of pressure. How did you deal with that? And did you deal with it?
Oh no, it was lovely to come out under the radar and just forgotten about. It was quite nice, because when I was in the spotlight, it was quite full on. I always enjoyed it. We're in the entertainment business, so it's whatever. Just get bums on seats. I always looked at it that way and wanted to entertain. And then obviously finished rugby, you know, job done, and just look what's next. And then for me, it was running a gastropub.
But the height of all that stuff, when the tabloids are following you about, and you're being papped all the time. It must be hard to concentrate on what you're good at and what you love, your rugby, when all that stuff's going on.
Yeah, true. It is probably like you probably have to create a bit of a thicker skin, and you become sort of two people in a way. You switch it on for that side of things, and then when you go home, you're yourself and you're grounded. I've always been around my family and that, and I have a great wife in Katie now, so you know, transition from rugby has been quite good, quite easy for me, to be honest.
Yeah, and I say the hours must be longer in what you're doing now than they ever were when you were playing rugby, aren't they?
Yeah, it's non-stop, always on call. So, but no, enjoy it. It does give us a lot of freedom. When it goes well, the pub, the restaurant, when it goes well, it's a great lifestyle as well. But yeah, when someone doesn't want to turn up to work, it's carnage.
And customers don't turn up. That's always annoying.
Yeah.
The most.
Yeah. When they booked up, they book big tables, and then they don't turn up. It's tough, that is.
So you'll be watching all the tests, watching all the games at home, yeah?
Yeah, well, in the pub, yes.
Oh, in the pub, of course.
In the pub, yeah.
So you have live sport in the pub?
Yeah, live sport, BT Sports, Sky Sports, we've got all that,
Brilliant.
And, they're morning games, so we're doing breakfast and everything, so yeah, it should be good.
Nice one. Well, look, thanks ever so much for the kits.
Yeah.
I'll give those. Going to get Andy's. His wife's going to have to do it for me. He's going to have to close his eyes.
Yeah, I just say home bargains, £2.99, so they're cheap, so affordable. Get down to home bargains, £2.99.
Nice one. Well, enjoy the Lions, and let's hope for a bit of a renaissance in Welsh rugby. And good luck with the business as well. Good luck with the pub. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along.
See you guys.
Gavin Henson there, formerly of Wales and the Lions. And don't forget, the only place on national radio where you can follow all the Lions action is on talkSPORT. And it gets underway, 2 weeks today over at the Aviva against Argentina in that historic game. Still to come this afternoon, Steven Caulker is going to join us, former Spurs, Liverpool, Swansea defender. He's still playing over in Turkey at the moment. Talking about rugby league earlier on with Gavin, Junior Nsemba is going to join us. He's a Wigan Warriors, of course. Broke into the team a couple of years ago. Fantastic athlete, brilliant player. And it's Challenge Cup final at Wembley tomorrow. I thought I might see a few rugby league shirts out. You probably will see them out and about in London for the people who popped down earlier. So we'll be chatting to Junior about the game, Warrington Wolves versus Hull KR tomorrow. We'll have the clips of the week for you as well, live from the George in London with Macmillan, with Toolstation and with Greene King.
Could we be counting down to Big Ange being canned by Spurs? Daniel Levy's remained tight-lipped over the future of the manager. Former Tottenham defender Ramon Vega is furious Postecoglou's position is even in doubt.
For me, absolute major disrespectful towards the manager, towards the player. If you consider what these guys went through just only this season with the injuries and the way the team, I'm calling it dressing room. Ray knows how it works. You know, when the dressing room falls apart, that's where everything falls apart. And I'm telling you now, these players playing for these coaches.
Peterborough chairman Darren McAntony believes Ange deserves another season.
Because if Daniel Levy and Ange are in a room and Ange said to Daniel Levy, what do you want next year, chairman? The answer would be a trophy in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Has he delivered that? Regardless of how he got there. He's gone the long way round, though. Doesn't matter. Has he delivered that?
Elsewhere, David Beckham is about to become Sir David. It's reported Becks will get a knighthood in the King's Birthday Honours list. talkSPORT's United supporting chief football correspondent Alex Crook thinks it's about damn time.
Whatever you think of Beckham as a footballer, he's one of those unique people who transcends his sport. Everybody knows who David Beckham is, whether you're a football fan or not. I think you look at the role he played in getting the Olympics to London in 2012. That alone, for me, should have been enough to earn a knighthood. Then you chuck in all the charity work.
Next, new Chelsea striker Liam Delap has been left out of England's under-21 squad for the Euros as he prioritises a Club World Cup campaign with the Blues. Former Ipswich midfielder Darren Ambrose says he'd have done the same.
I don't think whatever he does in an under-21 shirt, if he's good enough and if he does it for Chelsea in the Premier League, is going to affect anything to do with any senior call-up. I don't see this as an argument. There's enough quality in the under-21s to go and win that tournament.
And one of the country's most famous bakers has finally settled the great talkSPORT breakfast scone debate.
To be honest, I do end up putting jam on first and then the cream, clotted cream.
Because you put the cream on and then the jam goes all over.
I know, it just pours out from the top of the cream and pulls all over your floor. But no, I would put the jam on first, set that, and then the clotted cream on top.
It's been a slow week.
Good afternoon. We are at the George Inn this afternoon, myself and Andy, with Macmillan. A special show. We're talking men's physical and mental well-being. It's Men's Health Week, and we'll be chatting very shortly to Steven Caulker, formerly of Spurs and Liverpool, been playing over in Turkey for a while now. But before all of that, if you fancy a trip to New York next month, well, you better listen up, because thanks to our friends at DAZN, we'll be broadcasting the tournament next summer, apparently, but they're telling me they're not ready to tell you more about that. Jim White and Andy Goldstein, they are now, apparently. So, we're giving away 2 FIFA Club World Cup final tickets. Here, apparently, I hope, is everything you need to know.
Hello! Look who it is, it's me, Andy Goldstein. And here at talkSPORT, we're gearing up for the Club World Cup in the United States. And to celebrate, we've got 2 tickets to the final in New York on July the 13th to give away. We're going to sort out the flights, we're going to sort out the accommodation, and we're going to give you £5 spending money to spend however you want. How about that?
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, all you have to do to enter is text the word FINAL, F-I-N-A-L, to 83338. Do that by the 13th of June at 11 p.m, and that's it, you're done. You're in the draw. A text will cost £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have bill payer's permission. Or you can just send your name and number by post to Club World Cup Final Prize Draw, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, and it must arrive by 5 p.m. on the 18th of June.
This is a talkSPORT limited competition run on talkSPORT Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
There we are. Best of luck with that. We've got clips of the week coming up a little bit later on for you, and Junior Nsemba is going to join us at Wigan Warriors. We'll look ahead to the Challenge Cup final tomorrow between Warrington and Hull KR. But as we said, former Spurs, Liverpool, Swansea, Cardiff, QPR defender Steven Caulker is with us. Hi, Steve.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good to see you. You've been out in Turkey for quite a while now, haven't you? Been playing out there? You just finished out there?
I've just finished, yeah. I've
spent 5 years over there, different cities. I had a good time. I really enjoyed it, but I feel now stepping away from Turkey, it's probably the right time for me to look for a coaching job. You know, I'm really looking for my next steps in football.
You had a little spell over here as a player-manager, didn't you?
I had a little spell. That was actually in Spain.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, due to Brexit, I was cut short, so I only had the 3 months over there. But I've been coaching with the youngsters over there whilst playing, and I feel now that I'm ready to step into the assistant manager role. You know, my goal for the next 10 years is to be a manager in the Premier League. You know, how I'm going to get there, it remains to be seen. So I'm working hard. I've been doing my licenses and, you know, sort of picking up as much as I can from the unbelievable network I've got in football. The fact that I've played for, I think, 20 teams.
Yeah.
You only listed 4 or 5.
I did. I just picked 4 at random.
Exactly.
But mainly because, like Andy, I probably couldn't pronounce the last. Let's just say the Ankara Club, shall we?
You're not the only ones to say. I'll give you it, right? Ankara Keçiörengucu.
Right. Okay.
Did you learn Turkish?
I learned Turkish, yeah. So when I first went over there, I started studying.
Yeah.
And within a year, I could sort of speak and do a few interviews and stuff. But it wasn't easy, I'll tell you that.
Because for modern managers, you need a lot of languages because you're dealing with a dressing room that's full of different players.
Exactly. So I've been learning Spanish. Obviously, that got cut short, but I'm still, you know, on my Duolingo app trying to pick up some pieces. And you know, I like the idea of working and playing abroad. You know, I like that. I think my end goal, as I said, is the Premier League. But I think, you know, to get there, I'm very open to going and trying different countries.
Yeah. Playing out into, I mean, we've had Jose there, which has not been without its issues along the way. Have you kind of kept an eye on what he's been up to? Because you were at Fenerbahce for a little while, weren't you, I think?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to know what's going on at Fenerbahce. Yeah. It's especially with Jose there. It's always in the news. I would say that it's probably been a shock for him. I mean, even a manager as experienced as him, you know, going to Turkey, it is very different.
Level of scrutiny is huge, isn't it? And the expectation at the big clubs, I imagine, is huge.
Absolutely, and everyone felt that this would be the year that Fenerbahce win the championship after so many years of finishing second to Galatasaray, to Besiktas. Everyone else seems to have had their go at winning the title, but Fenerbahce have gone 10 years without it. So the president there is under a lot of scrutiny. They brought in Ozil, they brought in Zeko, they brought in, you know, Jose now, but it just hasn't quite worked out. So it's going to be interesting to see whether, you know, whether Jose can turn it around next season and if they're given the time to do so.
Yeah,
they've never had much success in the UEFA competitions, have they? They've always been great at home, but not so great away from home.
I always find that really interesting because the amount of money they spend and the players that they attract to Turkey, as a player, it's a really good place to go, the atmosphere and all the rest of it. But I think you said when you go away and play in Europe, I think the teams have struggled. But I think Fenerbahce this year, I don't know, they flattered to deceive, I'd say. You know, there's a lot of expectation and they've fallen short.
One of the jobs as a manager really is to kind of be a bit of a mentor and sometimes a shoulder to cry on for players. I mean, you've been upfront about the issues you had in your career. You did have a lot of clubs and found it sort of hard to settle at clubs. I mean, a lot of your experiences that you had of a player, hopefully you'll be able to take into management.
Absolutely. I think that's a big asset, I feel, actually, to have had so many experiences, both good and bad, across the globe. It feels like I've played in Africa, I've played in Turkey, Scotland, England, Spain. I feel like having those different experiences, working with different people, gives me an understanding, you know, and I like to think that I've got a lot of empathy towards those who are struggling, and that's, you know, a big part of the reason why we're here today, right, to highlight those issues. And I think these issues, you know, footballers are not immune to this. You know, this is going on, and it's still going on today. You know, there's better support out there, but we still need to get better.
When you do your coaching badges, is that an aspect of it? Is it just football, just training in football, or has that now come into it?
It's a good question. They've just started to introduce it now, so that is a factor. They do work on the psychological side of it, the social side of being a coach. It can also be a very lonely place, right? So for those who are managers, you know, your job is never safe, it's never certain. You know, you look at Big Ange this year, he's come under so much scrutiny, and I think football at times, because there's a lot of money in it and there's ego, of course there's ego in it, right? You have to believe you're the best, otherwise, you know, you'd be pushed off the ball and the next time we'll take it off you. So I think with all those things, it's sort of like a macho industry, and I think introducing this now to the coaches, having that part of the coaching licenses, that emotional understanding, I think is only going to help support the players and move football forward.
What was the nature, it's probably worth explaining to the listeners, the nature of the issues that you had during your playing career?
So for me, it was gambling. That was my Achilles heel. Let's say I was a real nightmare when it came to gambling, and I struggled to get a grip of it. I started at 15, actually, before I sort of played football. I didn't get signed by Tottenham until after that. But gambling just plagued my whole career, and as a result of that, when I drank, I would then abuse the alcohol because I was sort of drowning my sorrows. I had severe depression, and until I sort of accepted that I needed to take medication for that, until I accepted that I need to go to the 12 steps, recovery and start that process, I was a mess. And football had given me opportunities. I can't sit here today and say, they should have done better. And at times maybe they could have done better, but I needed to do better. I needed to take responsibility, and I said it took me to about 26, 27 until I was able to do that.
Where was the height of that? Where would you say at your worst point? Where were you playing at that time?
I think the worst part for me was when I left QPR. So I mean, my time at QPR was a disaster, to be quite frank, on and off the pitch. And when I left them, that was sort of the real dip there. I went to Dundee for a bit, and then I had 6 months out of football, sort of picking myself up there to go and train every day, whilst teams are not interested. Rightly so. Football had sort of turned its back on me at that point. And
had you got a reputation then? Did people know what was going on in your life?
Absolutely. People were aware that I became a liability, basically, and I've had to work really, really hard to change that, not just for my career, but most importantly for myself and my family. Because with them sat there worried about when I'm coming back from a bender or what day I'm kind of show up, and am I going to be okay? Are you going to be alive? Because this is it's a really serious issue, and I've unfortunately lost friends to addictions and various illnesses. So I mean, it's taken a lot of work, and it's something that I still do today. I have to treat it as a daily issue, so I do a lot of work to maintain it.
Are there still some trust issues? Maybe people don't know you've come through it. Do they need sort of to know that you're through that and you're a different person now, do you sense?
Yeah, I would say so. But I would say that the questions they ask at times can be difficult, but they're right to ask. Because I spent so many years being deceitful. Part of addiction is the deceit. The amount of lies I told over the years. I think they have every right to question me. That's not something I necessarily like. It doesn't make me feel good. But I said probably the biggest turning point for me when at the age of 26, 27 was acceptance. I started to accept that this is bigger than me. I need help. I'm sick, actually. This is no longer a choice. And then from that day, I started to make progress. But it hasn't been plain sailing. There's been lots of bumps in the road.
Yeah. And as you said, that is great. They're great life lessons to take into a dressing room as a coach, aren't they? And be a bit of a sounding board for players. And you'll probably spot the signs, I would imagine, in a way that maybe other people won't.
Yeah, I feel like I've been captain in a lot of change rooms, and I've also got that sense when a player is struggling. And so many times I've gone over and asked the player, like, what's going on? You don't look the same today. And how do you know? I don't know. It's like a sense almost, and I think it's important to have that. I think just in life in general, but I think especially if I'm going to be a manager, be someone that people look up to, lead, then I think it's important I do have that emotional understanding to help those around me.
Yeah.
You do need empathy now. You can't get away with the way teacup throwing and all that. It's not going to happen, is it?
Exactly. The game's changed a lot. I'd say probably Dundee was the last time I saw that. Where it's kind of like the aggression in the change room. Now managers come in after games, they don't speak. They'll wait 3, 4, 5 minutes, come in, say a 30-second thing, and say we'll speak again tomorrow. So, when I first started playing, it was the complete opposite to that. As soon as you walked in the change room, it was on you.
Who are the managers you think you'll take the most from? You're probably cherry picking bits of a lot of different managers you've worked under, but are there some standouts, Steven?
Yeah, probably the biggest name would be Jurgen Klopp and what he did with Liverpool and how he transformed them, actually. And I was sort of fortunate to be there at the early stages, so I sort of watched how he transformed them. I'm talking about on the pitch, how he did the press that he's world famous for. How he built that step by step. I worked with Francesco Farioli, most recently at Ajax, Brendan Rodgers as well. Malky Mackay for me was a great manager, great people person. So I've been fortunate to have worked under so many. I had 4 coaches this year in Turkey, so I've had a long list of coaches, and I take little bits from all of them.
You have to be pretty resilient as a coach, because you've seen in Turkey that you're only as good as your last win in many cases, aren't you?
Exactly that. And I just think that I mentioned on a few podcasts and radio shows, when you've got, it's a different culture there. So boys will come in at half time time, be lighting up a cigarette, you know, dealing with that,
it's a Sunday league.
Exactly, it's very different, right? And just sort of being accepting of that as a coach, that you are in a different culture. This is the way things are done here. I mean, my last club, we never used to train day before a game, and I used to find that bizarre, because obviously what I was used to here would be day before a game would be, you know, that's the intense day. That's where you get, you know, you get that feeling. You might play young v old to, you know, to get that feeling that you're winning feeling again. But there it was like a free day. So you have to adapt, and I think that's something that again is going to be an asset for me, having experienced different cultures.
Steven Caulker's with us here at the George Inn with Macmillan. We're going to keep chatting. We'll talk about some of his former clubs and some of the stories around those today. A little bit of breaking news around Arsenal. Seems Arsenal stepping up their interest in RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko, we understand, at talkSPORT. Probably over Victor Gyökeres. It seems they favour Sesko as a signing. I think that I can see the sense in that. We'll come on to that if we can a little bit later on. Still possible Arsenal could move for Gyökeres if they fail to get a deal done with Sesko, but he looks like the #1 target for the Arsenal. Gyökeres, Manchester United are very keen on, but they're not the only ones, of course. So yeah, we'll bring you more on that. We'll chat more with Steven Caulker in a few moments' time. Sport Hawksbee and Jacobs live from the George Inn in Southwark in London with Macmillan this afternoon for Men's Health Week. Steven Caulker, former Spurs, Liverpool, and I'm not going to go through them all. Swansea, Cardiff, and QPR. I was about 50 odd games at QPR. You were there quite a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there for the year in the Premier League where it didn't go too well.
Yeah.
And I came back a little bit later in the Championship as well. So, not my favourite of times. I'm not sure it was many QPR fans' favourite time, but it was an experience nonetheless.
David Beckham's in the news today for his knighthood, but you've did something in football that he didn't. A historic, possibly the only time. But they say there's a chance that there could be another Great Britain team. You were part of the Great Britain Olympic team, weren't you? Is that right?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. You know, I've been asked that a lot lately, and like looking back, I sort of appreciate how good of an experience it was.
Yeah.
So we had the likes of Ryan Giggs, Craig Bellamy, Ramsey, so obviously joining us, which was unique because when you're in the England set, we obviously don't have the Welsh boys with us, and I just felt that was an unreal experience to sort of stay in the Olympic Village and sort of be able to, I don't know, get that feeling of being an athlete. Because although, you know, as footballers, we are athletes, we are class athletes, but it's different. Football's just so different to those who are like training day in, day out to be a high jumper. You know what I mean? It's just such a different sport.
So you're all staying in the digs in the village on the cardboard beds, the same as everybody else? No sort of big flash hotels in the West End, no?
Well, we were there for a couple of days and we got kicked out, unfortunately. Stuart Pearce wasn't having it. He said, you guys are having too much fun, we're getting out.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, he put us in a hotel. He said, that's it. But we had 2 days of it, and it was as I said, great experience just to be around different athletes and see how they behave and how they prepare and stuff. So
Usain Bolt, did you catch up with him at all?
I never saw him, but I saw LeBron James. Got a photo of LeBron James at the Olympic ceremony, and it's just great memories. You know?
Was there a bit of a shock when David Beckham didn't get in? Because he'd been so much part of delivering the Olympics, everybody thought he would be. So
I thought he would be as well, and I would love to have experienced playing with him. You know, I've obviously met him a few times, but he's a legend, and you know he's often sort of thought of in other ways for all the stuff he does off the pitch. But actually, as a player, he was a hell of a player.
Yeah.
So I'd have loved maybe him whipping the balls in to try get a goal and whatnot. So
set piece, get up for one.
Exactly,
that would have been good. Well, what are we going to talk about next? I'll tell you, I was going to play you something actually, if I can find the right page. Darren Ambrose, big Spurs fan, Crystal Palace midfielder, of course. He was on with Jason Cundy on the Sports Bar last night, and he was talking about Ange Postecoglou. Here's what he said.
The third season is always better than the second. He is the quote king. I'm Angin. I've been Angin from day one, and I'm staying Angin. He deserves an opportunity. Spurs need to pull their finger. The biggest Spursy thing, we hate this Spursy tag. The biggest Spursy thing that can happen is us get rid of our manager after winning a European trophy. Where's Daniel Levy? Why is he not answering this? You don't have to, but why is he not answering it? Ange, I trust that you will have a better season next season. I'm really looking forward to it.
Sounds like an excerpt from Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, no, very emotional.
Strange.
Stephen, you were telling us, although you started your professional career at Tottenham, you're a gooner.
I was as a youngster, yeah. I grew up, my local team was Brentford, and the team that I could never afford to go and watch, but were the best around back then was Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, growing up watching the likes of Thierry Henry, I mean, it was hard not to be a gooner at that point.
Does that ever matter professionally? You know, you're playing, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't, does it?
Not at all, to be honest, but when Tottenham offered me a contract at 15, I jumped at the opportunity, and I've been Spurs ever since, really. I mean, that's kind of how it was. They were the ones to give me the opportunity. That's where I made, whilst being at Spurs, I made my England debut, so I've got so much gratitude for Spurs giving me the opportunity that I've always sort of followed them and supported them since.
Who were the guys that came in at the same time as you, as kids?
Well, I've had so many. I mean, I was in the same youth team as Andros Townsend, Harry Kane, Ryan Mason, who's just got the West Brom job. You had Carl Walker, Carl Norton, Danny Rose just above me as well, a couple of years above. So, I mean, I've probably missed a whole heap of names there. But we had a really, really successful academy and produced a lot of players who have gone on to play in Premier League and international football.
Yeah. I was going to talk about just quick one on Ryan Mason, who's just got his first #1 job after spending a lot of time working at Spurs as a #2. I mean, did you always feel he was sort of management material as a kid? Was he always a bit of a thinker about the game?
He was a deep thinker, yeah. I mean, we actually went alone together at Yeovil, so I spent even longer with him. We used to stay in the state. They put us up in a B&B for a whole year, and we were literally next to each other for a large period of time. And he reads the game really, really well, and I remember that from a young age. And I think the experience he would have picked up being at Spurs, working alongside some of the best managers in world football, now he's ready to go out there on his own. And I think it's great he's been given the opportunity so young.
You should write a book. Have you written a book?
I should do, shouldn't I?
You should,
yeah. Said that to me. I've got so many experiences.
Amazing.
But
we were talking there in the break about, we won't name them, but certain managers who've come up, the teams have gone straight down again, and then suddenly they've landed good jobs. And you're saying this is now part of the discussion in the A licence, which was quite interesting. I found that quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're discussing a lot during the A licence. Actually, I mean, it's a year-long course, and we speak a lot about the detail and what it takes to be a coach, and actually how some coaches have maybe passed too quickly, and when they have passed and they've gone out there and got their own job, we've sort of seen them fall off quite quickly. So I think this time round they're really starting to be a lot more thorough, because they want the coaches to be fully prepared, so when they do go out there that they're ready and well equipped, because there's always excitement, especially with a big name, that because they've been a good player they're going to be a top manager, and they've obviously got the understanding and the mindset and all of that comes with it, but then it's just that it's been on a different side, right, viewing the game from the outside rather than the inside, and I think they've really started to change that now with the course.
There did seem to be a period when it was the same, it was the old managerial merry-go-round, and the same sort of half a dozen sort of older managers would get the jobs.
It still is in Italy.
Yeah, in Italy. But the trend really in this country is for, younger managers getting chances. We just seen Will Still get his chance at Southampton coming back from France. I mean, there's opportunities for young coaches, isn't there?
There is so many. I mean, I was actually having this conversation last night. The only one I could think of the sort of older era is David Moyes. So as for the rest, it is now, everyone's looking for a modern coach. And they're not, I wouldn't say they're actually managers. A lot of these are head coaches, right, which are different to, I came through with Harry Redknapp, and he was a manager. He was not someone who was on the grass every day, but he sort of managed his staff and managed the players. And I think that's almost like a dying breed, Tony Pulis, Neil Warnock, those kind of characters. So it's going to be interesting, because I feel like football will do a full circle, and at some point it will come back to that sort of managerial side, because for a head coach to manage the players, the staff and the training session, it's exhausting.
I think that's been true of Ange Postecoglou, actually. I don't think he's that hands-on. He just lets the coaches get on with it. I suppose everybody's got their different approach. I mean, you're going to want to be out there on the grass, are you?
I'm actually going to want to be a manager. I think I'm still old school. I want to sort of manage this. Of course, I want to be out there on the grass every now and again. You want to take the team the day before the game to do the tactics and stuff. But I think during the week, I'm more than happy to let my assistants do that. And I think sort of managing it, going back to the emotional side of the game, managing players, their expectation, managing their emotions, building relationships is going to be my key focus. Because I truly believe in it. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Like, a happy player almost every single time performs better than an unhappy one, right? And I use myself as an example. So that would be my focus, and I think the coaches can then focus on the pitch and improving them technically and tactically.
So in this country, abroad, have you got any sort of preferences if you can get in coach?
No preference whatsoever, just wherever the opportunity is. It has to be the right opportunity. I've been in Turkey where, that's how we worked under 4 coaches this year, where the presidents are very quick to sort of press the button and eject you out the seat. So I would rather be away from Turkey as a coach, but I'm open to ideas, and let's see what happens this summer. Football's a very small world, and you have sort of connections all around the world, as we've spoken about earlier, and let's see what it brings.
Fantastic. Well, Steve, we wish you all the best. Good luck in your coaching career, and lovely to see you. Thanks for coming along today.
Thanks, guys.
Steven Caulker there. Still to come, we've got the clips of the week coming up very shortly. We're going to be joined by Junior Nsemba as well, of Wigan Warriors. He may not be involved, but we will look ahead to the Challenge Cup final tomorrow at Wembley between Warrington and Hull KR. That's all to come. More from here at the George Inn. We're here with our good friends at Macmillan.
Could we be counting down to Big Ange being canned by Spurs? Daniel Levy's remained tight-lipped over the future of the manager. Former Tottenham defender Ramon Vega is furious. Postecoglou's position is even in doubt.
For me, absolute major disrespectful towards the manager, towards the player. If you consider what these guys went through just only this season with the injuries and the way the team, I'm calling it dressing room. Ray knows how it works. You know, when the dressing room falls apart, that's where everything falls apart. And I'm telling you now, these players playing for these coaches.
Elsewhere, David Beckham is about to become Sir David. It's reported Becks will get a knighthood in the King's Birthday Honours list. talkSPORT's United supporting chief football correspondent Alex Crook thinks it's about damn time.
Whatever you think of Beckham as a footballer, he's one of those unique people who transcends his sport. Everybody knows who David Beckham is, whether you're a football fan or not. I think you look at the role he played in getting the Olympics to London in 2012. That alone for me should have been enough to earn a knighthood.
And one of the country's most famous bakers has finally settled the great talkSPORT breakfast scone debate.
To be honest, I do end up putting jam on first and then the cream, clotted cream.
Because you put the cream on and then the jam goes all over.
I know, it just pours out from the top of the cream and pulls all over your floor. But no, I would put the jam on first, set that, and then the clotted cream on top.
It's been a slow week.
Clips of the week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Our friendly colleagues are right behind you at over 580 stations. Next stop, Toolstation.
Yes, it is time for the clips of the week with our very good friends at Toolstation. Andy, do you want to get us underway?
Yes, and we kick off with Alan Brazil on breakfast, talking football, we think.
Coming up, we turn our attention to the Champions League final. Live on talkSPORT, this final of the year, PSG, Paris get over the line, or will the pressure be too much for them? We'll find out next. All thanks to Premiership Rugby.
Hang on. What happened there?
No idea.
I think he had two reeds in his hand at the same time. Actually, Alan confused us quite a few times this week, including during this promo for their sponsors, Travis Perkins.
Is Bruno Fernandes on his way to Saudi Arabia? Stay tuned to find out that. Plus, Yearney with Ray. You don't want to miss that. That was a look ahead with Travis Perkins.
What's wrong with Trevor's parking?
It's quite good, I think.
Trouble, don't ask to Trevor to park your car. He's an absolute nightmare. Won't meet Trevor's parking.
This is Adi Oladipo with Rory Jennings on the Transfer Insiders arguing about wingers.
Gordon is way better than Jack Grealish. Oh, stop it. Don't give it a look. Of course he is.
Well, it's funny you mentioned
Gordon is better than... It's like when he said last week...
Gordon. One of the Merseyside Gordon.
I think he's from Baden-Baden.
I think he is. Here's Andy Goldstein, a rare one from Andy, chatting about Jadon Sancho.
Jadon Sancho is going to return to Man United after Chelsea decided not to sign him. They had an option to buy him back for £25 million, or buy him for 25, but they decided to pay £5 to Man United to keep him.
I think it was worth it, wasn't it?
It was really.
£5.
Was it?
Did you cash him up for that, did you? Fantastic. Only had pound coins. Yeah.
It's back to Big Alan, and we didn't realise he was such a big Oasis fan.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oasis were live forever there.
Yeah, Live Forever, the big Oasis hit, Live Forever. We all remember that one, don't we? The other ones Alan loves. His other favourites are Look Back in Angers, their tribute to the French football team, and She's Eclectic, which is another one of Alan's favourite Oasis songs.
Wonderwall.
Wonderwall, that's right. Yeah. Here's Jeff Stelling introducing guest Henry Winter, and we're not quite sure whether Henry sounds like a cow or Kenneth Williams.
A man who's out in Spain at the moment with the England camp right now and give us more is top football writer Henry Winter. Morning, Henry.
Morning, Henry.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali.
We're not quite sure. Is he a cow or is he Kenneth Williams?
Okay,
He's
Kenneth
one of the two.
Williams.
Let's go Kenneth Williams, OK.
I'd like to see Kenneth Williams with Sean Custis on a Sunday morning.
That would
it won't happen.
Oh, that would be a good listen, wouldn't it? Yeah. OK, so what's next?
It's newsreader Emma Kerwin now with transfer news.
Talk Sport.
It looks like Brian and Bombers prioritising a move to Manchester United.
Brian who, Emma?
Brian and Bombers.
Brian and Bombos, of course. Their name on everybody's lips in this transfer window. Brian and Bomboms. To be fair to Emma, she does have some way to go before matching the legendary Liz Sauls attempt to master some famous footballers' names.
Bex is following the footsteps of some of sport's biggest names, such as Johan Cruyff, Franz Beckenbauer and George Best.
There we are. Georgie Best, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. Franz Beckenbauer. Fantastic, yeah.
Brilliant. And finally, while we're dusting off old clips, we were reminded of one during this hard-hitting exchange between Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour on breakfast this morning.
Have you got a favourite cake? I don't eat a lot of cakes really, Al. What would be my favourite? Jaffa? Yeah, Jaffa cake.
Yeah, nice. That's it. You are listening to TalkSport.
I can't talk.
But it does allow us to play this little unguarded off-air moment from back in the day between Alan and his old co-host, Ronnie Irani.
08717 223344. Your texts and emails. Travel next. Jaffa cake in on?
No, that's right.
No thanks, mate.
No thanks, mate. That's almost better than Jaffa cake, anyone. So that's what, when the red light goes off, that's what Alan's doing. He's sharing the love and he's giving out the Jaffa cakes. So there we are. There was your clips of the week. We should thank Andrew Dool, Andy Tideswall, Duncan, Antique. Oh, here we go again. Stuart Armour. I know he's real. Barry Cade. That would be a great name for someone, wouldn't it? Barry Cade. Johnny Mack, Steve W, Phil Barwise, Alan Hutchinson, Lee Jensen. All suggested clips that were played this week. As always, if you hear a clip on TalkSport over the next 7 days, please do send it in to us. talksport.com/H&J. Text it to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J. As always, you just need a day and a time when you heard it go out, so we've got a fighting chance of listening back, and if it's played like those guys, you'll get a credit. You can listen to those clips of the week and indeed a whole raft of previous clips of the week. They're all available wherever you get your podcasts. We have the Clips of the Week podcast. I think you can link it through from the TalkSport app as well. And the best bits of this afternoon's show, we've had some fantastic guests, including Aaron Lennon and Gavin Henson joining us. Some of the best bits of today's show will be available in the H&J Daily podcast, which we put out every day.
Yeah, he's always got his guard up.
Who has?
Barry Cade.
Barry Cade, he certainly has. But for now, that was the Clips of the Week with our good friends at Toolstation.
Clips of the Week on TalkSport with Toolstation. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Toolstation.
Now, a fine series returns to TalkSport this week. It's very fitting that we talk about it today with Macmillan. We're talking about Men's Health Week. And Steve Harmison and Leon McKenzie do a fantastic show called After the Lights Go Out. They speak to former sports people about, much as we have today, about sort of picking up the pieces after sport and how difficult that can be. It's the struggles of former professional athletes after retirement. And during this weekend's edition, the subject of dementia is discussed, a condition which Carl Frampton, who is the subject, the fine boxer, the subject of it this week, Carl, say that he expects that he could be a sufferer at some point in the future, which is pretty sobering. This is a little excerpt from it.
I was getting ready for my last fight with the McGuigans. The HMRC came to my house where I was living. I wasn't at home. I was in training camp. My wife answered the door with our young son on her hip, and there was a guy looking 397 grand of unpaid VAT off me because he couldn't find the McGuigans. And at that stage, that was when I just made the decision, right, I'm going to have this fight, and then these guys we're done. We're done forever.
So that was the actual calling of
that.
Your
it was
decision.
going that way anyway. But that moment, that was it. That just I hit the roof.
Because your wife answering the door.
It was horrible.
There we are. Not quite the clip I expected from that setup, but that is one of the subjects that will be covered. So go and check it out. It's a brilliant listen. The guys do a fantastic job with the show. After the lights go out, 8 p.m. this Sunday, right here on talkSPORT.
I think it has a relevance to non-sporting people because it's the same thing, isn't it? You know, what do you do when you retire? You see that all the time in people.
Yeah.
They retire and they don't know what to do, and then suddenly they get ill. And
is that why you're still here?
That is exactly why I'm still here.
Okay.
Not for quality reasons, you'll understand.
You'd just be out there trolling people on the internet, wouldn't you? You'd be. Yeah. I think it's important we keep you in the tent. Certainly, it sounds like a better idea to me.
Good point.
So we're going to be chatting to Junior Nsemba very shortly. Plays for Wigan Warriors. He's had a fantastic couple of years since he broke into the first team. They won it all last year, and they're not in the Challenge Cup final this year. It's Hull KR Warrington tomorrow, but we will chat to Junior about that, amongst other things. Life as a... And Wigan Warriors have done some great work in the mental health area, and I'm sure Junior will be telling us a bit more about that. Don't forget the live race. We've got the Oaks at 4 o'clock. We've been bringing you all the racing on talkSPORT 2 this afternoon with Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly from the Derby Festival at Epsom, but we will have the race at 4. We'll hand over to Rupert and Lizzie, and they'll bring you that one on talkSPORT just before Andy Goldstein and Darren Bentwood drive. But Junior Nsemba from Wigan Warriors is up next. We're live at the George Inn in London with our very good friends at Toolstation, their charity partner Macmillan, and you can scan the QR code on the screen if you're watching on YouTube to find out more. Welcome back to the George Inn. Just a reminder, in around 10 minutes' time, we'll be crossing to Epsom, to Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly, to bring you commentary of the Oaks just before drive. But I was half expecting to see a couple of Rugby League shirts in the pub today.
Yeah.
Because Rugby League fans make a bit of a party of Challenge Cup. They don't just come down in the morning. A few make a couple of days of it. And I'm sure out and about in London, you will see a fair few Rugby League shirts. It's a beautiful day out. It's the fans of the whole game come along and watch the final at Wembley. Joining us now, someone who's not involved in the final, sadly, but he's having a pretty decent season with Wigan Warriors. Junior Nsemba. Hey, Junior.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm happy to come to London and watch the final.
You're going to stick around for the game, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to watch the final. Support the women.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I said we spoke to Dennis Betts yesterday, the coach, and it's a big one, isn't it, for Wigan? Looking to do it for the first time, aren't they, the women?
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, it's a massive rap to the women for being able to play at Wembley and getting there in the first place. And I feel like Wigan Warriors women, they've come up a long way, and hopefully they can do it tomorrow. I've got every belief in them.
Is there much interaction between the men's and the women's teams at the club? Do you see much of each other, or stuff goes on, do like events and stuff?
Yeah, like they train at different times, and now they've got their own place, so they've got their own facility to train at. I went down a couple weeks ago, and it's amazing what they're doing with like the girls, and they're bringing the community in and everything. But when they were at Wigan Warriors, we was doing like community stuff.
Yeah.
And we mixed the group, so like men's team would be together, the PDRL, the women's team, the academy. So we'd have like a few different like players from different groups in a group together, so we'd interact there, and my group would normally win. But
yeah. I remember when Wembley was being built, there was a Challenge Cup final. I went to it at Twickenham, a very strange place to hold a rugby league.
I went to one at Spurs a couple of years ago, well, because they were using Wembley for something else. So we had one at Tottenham as well.
Tottenham, was that the Liam Marshall try one?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah,
against Huddersfield.
Yeah,
I was in academy then. It was good to watch that because I thought we were losing. Harry Smith gets the ball from Tommy Luluai. Then Marshy scores that try, and from an academy boy, not really knowing too much about rugby, seeing that and the whole crowd going wild, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
what was your route into the game, Junior? Was it always going to be rugby league for you? I mean, I think you're a great athlete. There were probably other options for you.
When I was younger, I started off with football, and then I tried swimming, couldn't do that. I tried karate, I couldn't do that. Basketball, the team quit. So when I was younger, I used to like my sport. So then I went on to rugby, and it was a bit different because I was a bit taller, I was a bit bigger than the average kid.
Yeah.
And it was fun for me because I was just running around, doing what I could, getting through the plays pretty easily.
Running over people.
Yeah, wow.
Running over people. But then as I get older now, things are changing. Like everyone's pretty the same size.
Yeah. And we were talking to Gavin Henson, the old Wales and Lions rugby union player earlier on. He was saying he likes league. He just said it's such a difficult game, ball in play 60 minutes most of the time at least. He's used to the ball being in play 40 minutes. I mean, it is full on, isn't it? It's such a physical, tough game you guys play.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the game's changed a bit now. Like, the game's still intense and everything, but I'd say back in the day, like the fire days, I'd say the hits were bigger. It was a bit more reckless, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. The laws have changed in the game. You can't get away with the stuff those boys did, really.
It's better,
definitely,
from that point.
Yeah. It's safer for us players, but it's a high-intensity game.
Yeah.
And being on that pitch, it is fatiguing. So especially in like finals and semi-finals like that, you can let the nerves get to you. So the boys probably tomorrow they'll probably feel a bit nervous as it's the final, but they'll get tired on the pitch fast.
We were giving Junior some rugby league history lessons.
Oh yeah, we started
Flooded It Rugby League.
Flooded It Rugby League, because Junior said, "How long have you liked it?" I said, "Well, since it used to, you just get the second half." It's hard to believe. You look at the way Sky cover it now. We bring your commentaries on talkSPORT, but you get the full build-up, the full Monty, Brian and everybody doing their thing, Jenna and stuff, John Wilkin. Then you get get the second half, Junior. They just come to the second half. No highlights of the first half. All in grainy black and white. With a guy called Eddie Waring. Ask him back at the club about Eddie Waring.
He was a legend.
He was the Premier Rugby League commentator back in the day.
I'll find out about
And you just get the second half of the game. So it kind of got me into rugby.
Then I was telling him about Peter Fox, the famous miss in front of the post.
Oh, yeah.
Poor lad.
Was that Peter Fox?
Was it Neil Fox?
No, it was
Peter Fox.
It was a Fox of some kind.
I think it was Peter.
Was it Peter? Okay.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Not much of history lesson if we get it wrong.
Yeah. You said it happened to you.
Yeah, back in my Jews days. I blame my teammates for trying to trip me up, but I missed a couple kicks in front of the post.
No, it's difficult. I'm going to look it up now.
I'm going to look it up now. Dom Fox.
Oh, Don Fox.
Don Fox. Sorry.
I knew it was a Fox.
Sorry, the Fox family. What about
famous rugby league family?
What about Hull KR are the only team keeping you off at the top at the moment. They're having a great season, and Warrington a very good side, but you do quite fancy Hull KR. How are you seeing it tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously two great sides, but for me personally, I feel like Hull KR might take it, just because when playing them, especially at their ground, it's a tough game. Like, everything feels different. It's like playing at Anfield or the Etihad. Like, the game just feels way different. No disrespect to Warrington, they're a great side and they're a tough game as well, but I just feel like with the way Hull KR are going this year,
they got a lot of confidence going into it, haven't they?
Yeah. I think they might be on it tomorrow.
We did a show from Warrington on the opening night of the season, and that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a couple of seasons ago. Yeah. So that was. I mean, how are you feeling about the season so far? I mean, you're sort of second place. It's going pretty well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty steady season. I feel like we're doing good, but the two losses that we took, one against Lee, was that the first time in a long time they beat us 1-0, and then we lost to Lee.
Mad game, strange score.
I know. 1-0. It's never happened to me before. So yeah, it was a mad game, and I feel like we're going well. I feel like the team, we're connecting week in, week out, on and off the field. And I feel like once you get the connections outside the field, then it brings it onto the field, and it's better. But
we mentioned Gavin Henson earlier on. You're probably going to have some cross-code chats. You've got Christian Wade coming in, haven't you?
Yeah. Spoke to him a couple of times. He's a nice fella.
Yeah.
He's nippy with his feet. Like, he trained against us the other day, and he nearly sent me. So I'm just looking at him pretty tall, so I could just reach out, stretch out for him. But he's a nippy player, and I feel like once he gets the game of rugby league, he'll be great.
Yeah, we spoke to him when he went out and tried out in the NFL, and he talked again about coming back, and you have to retain the playbook. There's so much to do. I mean, I imagine the NFL would like you. I don't know if any of the Pathway people have been in touch. I think you've got the physique for it and the power.
I mean, I don't really watch too much NFL. My dad watches it, but yeah, it's an interesting sport. I don't really get it. Like,
no, it is. I'm a bit like that. It's very complicated, isn't it?
It's better on TV.
Yeah, you got stoppages. I watched it in London. I think it was at Wembley, actually. I watched it here.
You don't know where you don't know where the ball's going, do you?
Yeah, I know. And then there's stoppages, and then there's pauses and breaks. Like, I don't get it, but it's good to watch.
Yeah, it's fun.
We're with Macmillan today, and we've been talking about mental health, and I know Wigan do a lot of good community stuff. I saw a programme that you had, I think it was called We're All Warriors, where people talked about their issues, all the players talked about their issues growing up, and you were very upfront about the sort of racial abuse you used to get as a young kid, something you couldn't understand as a young kid, while people were like that.
Yeah, so that what you see in We Are Warriors, it's just something to show people that although we wear the Wigan Warriors shirt, and like we're playing the sport, and we may look tough and all that, like we all go through our own problems.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to let the people know that we're together, we're with you. So like, if you are going through something, speak up, because I was going through something, I spoke up, and it's sorted. Like, nothing's happening now.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to let the people know, like, we're in it together. We are Wigan. I think the phrase at the end was "We are Warriors," innit?
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
So yeah.
And you'll say that's the great thing about a Challenge Cup. You'll see Wigan fans tomorrow. A lot of fans buy their tickets miles in advance. They'll go whether their team gets there or not. We'll see all shirts from all clubs all around Wembley. It's a real sort of festival of rugby. It's a great day, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like Magic Weekend kind of. Like all the fans getting together, just supporting two finalists. Like, they got themselves there. Credit to them. May the best man win. But yeah, it's like Magic Weekend.
Yeah. Well, have a lovely time tomorrow, and all the best for the rest of the season, Junior.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you. All the best. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you very much.
Junior Nsemba there from Wigan Warriors, and that is just about us. Thanks to everyone today for their help, all of our guests. Thanks very much to Macmillan and to Greene King and to Toolstation for their hospitality today. It's been a fun day. I'm sure you'll be picking up on some of the clips if you missed them. Aaron Lennon was fantastic. Perry Groves very honest as well. Gavin Henson we spoke to. But ahead of Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent on Drive, we're going to cross live now to Epsom for the Oaks with Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Welcome to Epsom for the Oaks, one of the 5 British racing classics, and this is a fascinating renewal. The runners going down to the start here at this famous racecourse. This race first run back in 1779 and has been dominated in recent years by Aidan O'Brien, who's already dominated the first Group 1 race today by taking the Coronation Cup with Jan Bruegel. Very impressive performance, and that was Aidan O'Brien's 10th success in that race, but he's now looking for his 11th success in the Oaks, and he's got 3, but it's a fascinating race with Desert Flower, the 1,000 guineas heroine at Newmarket, our 6-5 favourite. She's unbeaten. Charlie Appleby trains, William Buick on board, Lizzie. This has a fascinating feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Desert Flower, she's Guineas winner. She's unbeaten in her career through 3 group victories as well. Her pedigree suggests that she will stay. I'd like to have seen her hitting the line a little bit better over the mile at Newmarket, but I think what you would say is that everything will happen a little bit slower over a mile 4 here today, and she should be able to stay on the bridle for longer. You can make the same case for El Wateen, who was supplemented for this race after finishing 4th in the Guineas. I thought that she ran a really nice performance in that. I think it's important to point out that Aidan O'Brien has had a bit of a stranglehold on all of the trials for the Oaks. Whirl, Mini Hawk, Giselle, they've all won trials. Mini Hawk, she won at Chester. The Cheshire Oaks doesn't have a particularly great strike rate going forward to the Oaks here today. The last horse who completed, well, won both of them was actually Enable, which actually is quite a long time ago now.
Yeah, well, but Enable was no slouch, but it's interesting Ryan Moore's gone for